welcome back to the FOKLZ Podcast. It might be a pre-recorded one, but we're here nonetheless. How are you, Reece? You right?
Yeah, I'm good. Yep, here again, another week.
Yep. Just so everyone knows, I've just had an absolute nightmare with my microphone, and this is the second time we're recording this. But big news, Max Dowman. Come on, talk to me about him. Tell me about him. Is he the best 15-year-old on the planet?
To be fair, I don't know many 15-year-olds that are playing pro football against Champions League opposition and actually being probably our best attacker for the half an hour he was on the pitch, which is something to say. I mean, I think, obviously, I've seen a lot of him in youth football. I've done videos, I spoke about him before. And I think everything that I kind of saw in that, I was always like, oh, is it going to translate well? And it's even better than I thought. He is an incredible dribbler. Like, his agility and his pace he gets while dribbling is actually scary. I actually don't think, I don't remember watching Ethan Nwaneri that much when he was 15, to be fair, because I wasn't doing this whole YouTube thing. So my football knowledge was a bit less. So can't really remember that too much. But I don't know. This is I don't know if they've seen a talent this good. There is other talents at other clubs that are really good, but at 15 to do that, I mean, he's going to play this season. He's got to.
Yeah, he will. Yeah, he does, doesn't it? It's mad. I was on the instant reaction on the Cam podcast, and I didn't want to go over the top because it's a really awkward situation where you got someone who's literally a child. You know, he's not able to vote. He's not able to drive. He's not like. Is he old enough even to have a moped yet? I don't think he's old enough for that, is he? And you're then talking about him skinning Premier League or Champions League quality players, as you said. And I thought that the first minute, you have Joel Linton go into him. And I thought, oh, here we go. This is going to be interesting. Didn't faze him at all. It's nuts. Like most players would go, oh, this is, a step too high for me, or this has come a little bit too soon for me. But I mean, unbelievable. On that note, what we're doing here is because we talked about, him being the best 15-year-old on the planet, if not, already the best player in the world. We then decided to go through every single age and choose the best player in world football of every single age group. Some areas a little stronger than others, as we found out quite quickly. But are we both in agreement? Like Max Dowman, is there anyone else that comes to mind, mate? Or are we just going, Max Dowman, that's it, he's in?
I mean, the only other one is Marley Salmon, I think. I want to give that guy some credit as well, because he is probably it's a bit like the Miles and Nwaneri sort of dynamic where even coming through, everyone was talking about Nwaneri. No one was really talking about Miles too much, even though obviously everyone knew his talent in the academy. And it's very much the same with Marley Salmon. Obviously, he is a centre-back, so I guess that isn't as flashy as an attacking player, so it's always going to be the same sort of dynamic. But that guy's passing is incredible for a 15-year-old. I mean, as well, he has played 450 minutes last year at under 23 level at 15, which is more than Dowman, and obviously a centre back, and he's played right back as well. I think that is an incredible talent, the elite passer that he is. He's really good at tempo as well. I mean, we've got they come in twos, as they say. It's actually, obviously it's hard not to get excited about these guys, but the thing is, even though we could talk about them and obviously we're careful of what we say, I still think that these two players have such a good backing and understanding from the club and how to develop in where they're going. So I don't think it's even if fans are getting hyped, I'm sure Arteta would have known with how much he's put Max Dowman in the shop window in terms of, talking about him. He's been in training. Now he's actually playing. They would have known this would have happened. And I'm sure they're absolutely going to be acceptable about it. So, I mean, it's just a great, it's just one of the things that always gets you happy, especially, it saves the club a lot, having all these talents just come through and we could just rely on them in the future. I mean, it's like the same thing. If we're later on in this season, if we're 6-0 up against a team, or we're playing a Carabao Cup game against a lower league opposition, I think all of us would like to see Max get given a go, even if it's for 5 to 10 minutes. And I think that's just an exciting prospect to have. So, I mean, these two players are really good at the moment. I'm really excited.
And it's so nice that we've had like recent players come through in terms of like Ethan and Miles, and then just before Bakayo came through. So the club are like really clued up on recently like progressing these players and developing them, because like if you have two players coming through like Marley and Max, and then you're looking, you haven't had any players come through for 20 years. The last time you might have had to kind of deal with this situation, it's completely different socially and how everything works. Everything's online now. We can see these players. It was 20 years ago. We wouldn't have a clue who they were. We wouldn't have had any footage on them. The only way you'd know anything about them would be maybe reading something, which likelihood is pretty like small, or going to watch them at a youth level game. And for most people, that's impossible as well. So it's mad the amount of kind of coverage we get of these guys, but unbelievable talents. So 15 done, off, and they're both Arsenal players. A good start. 16. Go on, you go for 16 years old. Who like kind of pops out to you?
So there's only one 16-year-old football player that I actually know that doesn't play for Arsenal. And it's I'm probably going to butcher this name. I did a short about him about 5-6 months ago, and I have the comments about how I butchered the name. Here's what it is.
Go for it, mate. It's fine.
Rio Ngoma, who plays for Liverpool. So this guy's got an interesting story because he was seen as let's say the shining bright, the Max Dowman of the Chelsea Academy. And then Chelsea basically, I don't know, the whole situation went on there. We know what Chelsea are like with their academy anyway. It seems more for profit than for the future, despite them arguably having the best academy in the UK. I think Cobham is like incredible, the amount of talents that just produces from that all the time. But this guy was like, obviously, then Liverpool came in for an offer, I think when he was 15 or something. He moved to Liverpool's academy at a very young age. And he is like been touted for great things at Liverpool. He actually played in this preseason. I watched him against Preston. He played as a left winger for them. And in the 25 minutes he played, he was incredible. I think he played against Milan as well. I didn't watch that game. I think I heard that he did play in that game. But he is like basically what Dowman is, but on the other side. He's right foot. He's a left winger sort of type. He is incredible. Like he gets shots away so quickly. A dribbling level is superb. And I'm pretty sure he's quite small. I don't think he's like as tall as someone like Max. So he is able to like keep up with it. And I mean, this guy, like people talk about the next up in England. I mean, he is in that sort of same age bracket where you're like, this guy is really special. So, Liverpool got a star. We've got a star. United have got a couple. So it's very interesting. I think ultimately, I was talking to my own friends about this, and he was saying, because I was talking to one of my mates who doesn't support Arsenal, and I was talking about Max, and he was saying that like, England are going to be set, and I was like, England has so much talent, like genuinely in all age groups.
It's crazy.
Like, we've won the Euros 2 years in a row under 21 level, like, and some of them players are like even not getting played at big teams, and they're still in the academy, or some of them players are in the Championship or whatever, not getting any sort of look in, and these talents that we have like can compete with the world. So, I mean, for me, he's like the only 16-year-old I think I actually know. So I don't know if he's best, but I know he is like a class player in the making, and I've heard a lot of good things.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The only player I had was Satpev, who's a Kazakhstanian centre forward. But I think if you're looking in terms of real development and where they're going to go, I think he kind of lacks there unless he kind of moves into Europe at one of the big 5 leagues and starts developing that way. I think there's only so long you can go and progress without being around top class talent and top level coaches. And maybe that does happen in the future, but yeah, I'd agree. I don't think there's anyone else that really stands out. Let's move on to 17. I feel like 17-year-old is kind of, it's got some good talent. You're starting to get a bit more broad talent, maybe a bit kind of wider coverage on it as well, of these players who at this age seem to start getting, proper minutes and full first team football. For me, so I've got my number one choice, Buadi. I've got Franco, who is the River Plate right winger, who, I mean, is unbelievable. He will not be staying over there for very long. He will be moving to Europe very soon. Kamada, who I talked to you about earlier, who's, funny enough, I found it really hard to find stuff and then realised he's moved to Lecce on one of these kind of Italian loans. So he's another player. I think we were briefly linked to him, actually, weren't we? Over kind of like January. And then you've got a player, but I refuse to say his name, so...
Mikey Moore, I think he's going on loan to Rangers, as which I've heard with the news, which can be a bit on and off. We saw what they did with the Ahmad loan, not very well. So it'd be interesting to see how it develops there. But Mikey Moore, like he's not probably as maybe effective in the final third as Waneri, which will always put him down. But I think all round, he's actually like an incredible player. His crossing is like insane. Like I know he's Tottenham and it is what it is, but I always think like he is a good talent. I want to give him credit. As we were speaking, I did actually remember a player who's 16 who I do know. And his name is Gilberto Mora. And the reason why I know him is because he played for Mexico in the Gold Cup. And he also played in the Club World Cup. And he was the youngest ever starter for Mexico at 16. He's already played 3 caps for them over the Gold Cup in the summer. And I'm pretty sure he started the final of the Gold Cup against America at 16 years of age. I haven't watched much of him, but I think he's a central midfielder sort of type of player. And he's already played like 40 games in the Mexican First Division last season. And at like the age of 15 to 16, that is kind of incredible. So I feel like, I don't know the talent there, but it's someone who's playing that much for that high of a level, like for that age, is something's got to be mentioned. But I think for 17, I kind of think Kamada is a little bit washed because I remember he scored in the Champions.
I love that. 17 years old. He's washed. He's done. His career's done.
I know there's a lot of problems with like Italian development in football. And I know if you speak to a lot of Italians, they say that there's no future. A lot of their players that are coming through to the national team are like 28 and they're getting their first opportunity and they're playing for like a middling Serie A side and they're just getting given a shot.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of them have been worrying about maybe the development. And there's many reasons for that. And I think as well with Kamada, like I've seen so many like Italian strikers happen this with. Lozano Luca is like such a great example. He was so good a few years ago, super young, massive guy, he's like 6'3", big in the air. And then he was at Pisa and he didn't really get the opportunities. They got relegated. He wasn't very good. He ended up going to Ajax and he thought, oh, maybe he'll do something there. Didn't do anything there. And I think he's just got a big move to one of the big Milan sides, I'm pretty sure. But he's not very good. And he's been in the Italy side for a year now. And he's not good. Like, he's not good enough for the Italian side. So it just feels like they just shoehorn these players in, and hope they get good. And I think with Italy, it just takes a long time for players to develop. Like, we've seen it with Moise Kean. Like, Moise Kean's actually a good striker now. But it's taken, he was great when he was 18 and then was awful for years. I mean, that Everton stint was one of the worst. He was awful. And now he's finally good. And I think with, Kamada, he's gone on loan to Lecce, but it is an option to buy. And if you know Serie A clubs, that means he's getting bought. They do it all the time. And what will happen is he'll probably develop his way back up like you expect. But I don't know. I thought that was Milan's guy. He scored 280 goals, wasn't it, in under 16 level or something like that.
Yeah.
And he played in the Champions League. They brought him on. He scored an offside goal. He's played 12 Serie A games off the bench. I think he started a couple as well. And it's just crazy how they just gave up on him like that. And it's they don't even have any other good... they have Jimenez, who is a good player, but they got rid of Tammy as well.
Yep.
So, I don't know. It's kind of a weird one. But, Biladi and Mastantuano are, stars. Really, I want to see how Mastantuano does at Madrid and see how much he plays. Well, probably not a lot.
Right.
But he is a real talent. That guy's free kicks are... He's gone from anywhere. It's insane.
I mean, incredible talent. I'll kind of go him through Buardi because I think he's... If there's one player I was going to buy, he'd be the one. Just unbelievable talent. And ironically, the type of player that we should be looking at buying in the next kind of year. We talked about it previously in one of the episodes, and we said about how are Arsenal going to fill the 2 gaps in our midfield. Do we need to go with an established player in Zubimendi and then get a younger player? The club have gone with Norgard in the end, which seems like a sensible decision. It might not be the most exciting decision, but a player that's used to the league, he's been a captain in the league, can slot in, does a lot of things similar to Zubimendi in a way. So it kind of makes sense. But like for Bouadi, he's been linked to everyone, let's be honest. He's been linked to Chelsea, to Liverpool, to Arsenal. He's been linked to all the big clubs around Europe. But he's just comfortable playing in like various midfield roles, whether that is sitting or playing as a kind of box-to-box midfielder. He's got real technical prowess. He's able to kind of take it under pressure, evade opponents. He's just an unbelievably good player for his age. And I find that centre-back, centre midfield and goalkeeper are the positions at a young age that you don't really notice players usually, simply because you usually have to get used to the positional awareness, the maturity as well, to be able to take the ball under pressure or deal with things under pressure. And I just think to be able to do it at that age, it'll be interesting if he becomes like a deep line playmaker or more of a box-to-box midfielder. But is he like a Rodri player? Is he like a Rijkaard kind of player, or is he like he'll be a really interesting player over the next few years? And I think right now he'll be where top clubs will be going in the next 12 months. I think so. For me, it has to be Bouadi.
I hope they develop him as a. I hope he becomes an 8. Like I think he really needs to become a box-to-box 8 because he's so like lanky and he can really cover ground well. And I feel like as a sitter, having someone that like he could do that and cover ground well as a sitter. But I feel like he is actually very good going forward, and I'd love to see him develop in that way. Like I know France are so good at bringing through so many of these especially midfield talents. Like I just kind of hate when they all get shoehorned into DMs. Like I think as well, like Camavinga was a player that was very similar. He's a little bit more, always been a bit more defensive. But because he's basically shoehorned into this defensive midfield role, now you see him mostly playing defense then in midfield.
Yep.
And Tuchemeni was always a DM. That's like he never really was a going forward player, so that's fine. But I think with sometimes if the potential for a midfielder is there, I think you should always try and make them go forward a bit. Same with Reece, you could argue like if he's got the going forward ability, I would rather try and enhance that a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, Bouadi, no one could sign him until January. We're going to see a lot of teams, I think, in January wanting him. I'd be interested to see where it goes.
Yeah. And what do you reckon? Probably 25 mil, I reckon, something like that, which isn't overly expensive. I think you could, around that price, you might be able to tempt them and get them away.
It's weird though, isn't it? Because it's like I would say yeah, but Lille are like known to be a bit.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, sometimes it depends. Like, I mean, we got Gabriel for cheap off them, and even Ribeiro was reportedly around the same price. Obviously, a bit different. He's 25. But like with some of their players, like Pepe, like even like I mean, they sold Osimhen for like 30 mil when he had one season there, I think. And yeah, they're pretty good at getting what they need for their players, so it'd be interesting. But
Big Berta will have it sorted. It'll be fine. 15 mil, all in Klarna payments. Not a problem, mate. So we're going Franco or Bouadi for our 17-year-old?
I've watched way more of Bouadi, so I'd go Bouadi.
Me too. Cool. 18. I think this is a shoe-in. I don't think there's really an argument.
He just turned 18. He ruined it. He should have been in the 17 category.
I know. But it's as of right now. So as of right now, recording on the 28th of July. This is okay. So I'll go through the players we've got. We've got Kabasi, Lewis Skelly. I'm putting him in. I'd argue, in terms of what he can do at left back, is there a better left back his age? Estavio, Quenda. I think he's really underrated. He'll be moving to a big team before we know it. And then Lamine Yamal. Pretty obvious who we're going for, Reece.
Yeah, I do want to also put in the mix. I know he won't win. Rodrigo Moura from Porto, because he just got called up for Portugal's national team at 18, and also he scored 10 league goals last season in 23 games at the age of 18, which is
That's pretty nuts,
insane.
isn't it?
It's insane. So I've actually watched a bit of him as well. He looks proper class. I mean, way better than Vieira, bless him. But I just like, I don't know. That's one of them talents where you can easily see in like 22, 23. I mean, all of these players, you could argue that, but they're going to be like just so good. They're so good. I mean, some of these players, it really does depend of like how they're developed at like the certain clubs they're at, but
Mhm.
it'd be interesting. But yeah, I think this is quite strong. Like obviously, Yamal's easily the winner. Like obviously, he's probably the best player in the world, like one of the best players in the world, like by far, one of the best players in this position by far. But all of these players we've just mentioned are like top quality. Like this is
Yeah.
a very, very, very good age gap. We didn't even mention that Ethan. Like Ethan's also in the part of this. Like there is so many in this age group. 18's a solid group.
It really is, isn't it? I mean, for Yamal to be 18 and genuinely be a runner, like in the running for the Ballon d'Or, is just mental, isn't it? If you think about it, like, I know he shouldn't win it, but he should definitely be in the conversation. Like
he's
in terms of,
he's
oh god, could you imagine?
I know he is. I know what they're like.
Like for me, it has to be Dembele, but ironically, earlier in the year, I was going maybe Rafinha will get it, or
I think Rafinha deserves it over Yamal. I do think like it's one of them things where I'm always someone that doesn't advocate for goals and assists, but I do think there has to be a certain like inclusion of that in this award. But like Yamal is like one of them guys that like that suddenly now that these award ceremonies and these people online don't care about goals and assists when all they care about in every other player. But as soon as it's just Yamal, doesn't matter. I don't think it matters at all. Like the Inter Milan semi-final, I remember writing the stats that he had in that game. Like on Twitter after it, he had something like 18 dribbles or something in that game. He created like 9 chances or something, and they lost. And I was like, well, it's just not his fault, is it? Like that is an all-time performance. And I was like, it's just insane. Like he is. You know, we could just genuinely just put the whole of La Masia on here. Like that academy is this annoys me so much. They're so good. I can't even lie.
I know. And we were there's more players here that actually come from that. It is mental. We talk about Hale End, but that's a whole different level. Next up is 19. So we have got, to be honest, a bit of a dearth of talent at 19 years old. Lenny Oram, I'm going to throw him in there. I think he's had a real dip since he went to United. I would put him up prior to him going to United, probably the best centre-back talent, like youth talent in world football. Now, I'm not too sure. I don't think the setup's as good. I don't think he's developed as well. I mean, being surrounded by that mess has not helped him. But nevertheless, I'm keeping him in just simply because he has got very good talent and physical like attributes that players just you can't teach. He's just unbelievably tall. He's very lucky in that respect. Zaire Emery, I think he's well within the running for this age group. Joel Hato, Echeverri over at Man City, and Endrick actually gets into this because he has just turned 19. Who's your favourite for this age group, mate?
I do also like Tyler Diblin. I think Tyler Diblin deserves a shout. I think he is. I mean, I do think like maybe a little bit overrated because of like he was so good at the start of last season, but then he did play for one of the worst teams I've ever seen. So I will. He's also
going to be washed now. He's at Chelsea. He's in their winger market. He's just gone. That's it. He's Oh, sorry. No, hang on. I'm thinking of. Who am I thinking of? Not Tyler Dibbling. I'm thinking of. Just moved from Germany over to Chelsea. Who on earth am I thinking of? Gittins. Yeah. No, Tyler Dibbling. No, fair play. Yeah,
Tyler Diblin was actually in the Chelsea academy, funnily enough.
He was.
But Tyler Diblin, like, I mean, he's linked to like Leipzig, so I do think wow. If Leipzig want to play a normal formation and have a normal system and actually like use the attackers, I think it'll work well. If they play anything like they did last season, then he's going to be one of the worst wingers of all time. So, but I don't think they will. They've got a new manager, so I think they'll be playing different.
Yeah, I do think
Zaire Emery is like the thing is Zaire Emery's a weird player because 2 years ago when he was 16, 17, he was like that guy. He won League Un Player of the Year, Young Player of the Year, 2 years ago now, or last year. It wasn't. It was a while ago now. And
Before
then
his,
last season, because of the whole midfield that they kind of made, the free midfield with Neves, Vitinha, and Fabian Ruiz, he kind of has been moved to the bench like considerably quite a lot. Like he hasn't played that much, but he is super young still. Like, and he is such a good talent. If he doesn't want to be at PSG at any point, every club in the world will be on him for him. He's an incredible midfielder. And I think all the other players here, I'm like, I've seen a bit. Like I like Echeverry a lot, but I've only watched like 6 games of him. Like Hato, I've watched like a decent amount, but it's like, how much do you consider the Dutch league? And he is going to Chelsea, so he will be part of their 400 players. And then I do like Lenny Yoro, but I think like it's just so hard to comment on United's like team because they're like
it's not hard to
7th.
comment on it, mate. It's easy to comment on it.
Yeah.
There's a couple of choice words I could use for that, but yeah, I think Zaire Emery is the clear favourite because you're looking at the others like Endrick. Has he actually performed at that level yet? No, not really. Echeverry, no real minutes. Lenny Yoro has kind of regressed, I'd argue. And although Zaire Emery isn't part of that setup, which is crazy because I think, like, to me, I think of João Neves as someone who's really well established. And then I forget he's 20. So he's only a year older than him. But yeah, I think Zaire Emery, out of that bunch, he's got arguably the top potential alongside maybe Endrick, but he's done more so far in his career, I'd say. So for me, it has to be him.
Endrick needs to move, man. Get him out of there. Just go anywhere. Just go anywhere on loan and enjoy yourself. Because I actually think Endrick's class. Like every time I watch him play, I'm like, this kid definitely has something about him. But
Yep.
Real Madrid, man, they're just not going to develop you. Like not at that age. Like I don't know.
Sad though, isn't it? It is sad.
I mean, it does work sometimes. Like it's like with the whole like Rodrigo and Vinny thing, it was weird because they weren't good when they came in. They took so long to like kind of get into gear, especially Vinny. I remember Vinny was awful for like 2 years, and then he had that one performance in COVID against Liverpool and scored a brace, I think. And everyone was like, "Oh, the one game he wants to turn up." And then since then, he's never looked back. But I mean, it's just like I didn't even like. I guess the talent's there. Eventually, it works itself out. But I don't know.
It's just such a bizarre place because the expectations are so high compared to any other club in world football. And you either make it or you don't. It's as simple as that. They don't give you time. So if you get that opportunity, you just have to seize it. And I guess that's what's happened. Like once you get that, just keep going. Okay, 20. So I mentioned him earlier, João Neves. I think for me, he's probably the most established player out of the bunch at 20 years old. We've also got Desiree Doué, who Champions League final, says it all really, just unbelievable talent. We've got Dean Housen, who's just recently moved to Real Madrid. Might be, well, he is the best centre-back in this age range. And then Yildiz. I think Yildiz deserves a little shout here, a little mention. He's probably not on the same level as the other three, but over time, like, can he get there? It'll be interesting. Who do you want to take on that one, mate?
I do want to mention Yildiz a little bit because he is like my guy. Like Yildiz has been my guy for years. That's a talent. I love the player that he is. Like I really do. And I've even gone as far to say that like there is a world where he becomes a better talent than Goulart if he plays more. And I think because everyone's on this like love train of Goulart, and I understand it and I get it because he plays for Real Madrid and I get the player he is. But I think that Yildiz is just a way more consistent outfit sometimes. Like I think you know what you're getting with Yildiz a little bit more. Maybe that's good or maybe that's bad. But even in the Euros that they played in, everyone was going on about Yildiz because Yildiz scored that like insane goal and then like he was good. But overall, in the performances, I felt that Yildiz's performances were better. I felt like he was more consistent performer in that tournament, and I was way more impressed with Yildiz coming out of it. And then since then, I love Yildiz. I do feel bad for Yildiz because he is at Juve, and he is their best player, I think. So, especially in the forward areas. So, like, it is bad because Juve aren't that good, but then he also is the main man for one of the top European sides who are going to compete for at least Champions League or Europa League spaces. So it's not it's like the same at being the top guy at a Villa or Newcastle. So it's not really like in that context that bad. And I don't think he should be seen as that bad in that area. But I'd love Yildiz at our club. Unfortunately, he's just too expensive at the moment. But great talent.
Would you kind of agree with the idea that Yildiz could fit in more systems than Gula? I know, like, we're obviously a different age range, but like if we're just talking about those two, because to me, I think Yildiz almost could play in any system. Whereas Gula, I don't know if he can. Like, I can't imagine him coming to the Premier League as easily. I think he would struggle a little bit more for me anyway. But do you think that's just a case of maybe like the age and the development, like in terms of physicality, or do you think his quality would show through and it doesn't really matter?
It's so hard with Gula because Gula was this like insane shot creator guy who was getting all this space and everything. And then he's gone to Real Madrid and it's like, we just like, he has been good. He actually has a great goal to game record, but we just don't see it consistently of him playing and like how their systems work with him in there a lot. And I find it hard to sometimes see where he fits as well. Yildiz is just like a natural, like aggressive, direct winger who picks the ball up and runs at you. Like we talk about needing that sort of winger. I mean, he is a little bit more of an inside the box guy. You don't really want him like too wide, but he is that guy that will just pick the ball up, run at you, go past a few players and score. It's what I love. Conceição on the other side for Juve. And I was going on at the start of the summer, like, why are they not buying him for 26 million euros? Well, they did. They bought him for 30 and got a couple of, over 4 years, which is going to be a good deal. I love wingers that just run at people and are incredible dribblers. And Yildiz is like that sort of guy. That's why he's one of my favorite players. And I think like you put Yildiz in most Prem teams, like he'll be really good. Like we talk about Gittins going for 50 mil to Chelsea. I think Yildiz is a better talent than Gittins right now. And I think
I'd agree with that.
I think they're the same age as well. So I feel like I know Yildiz would probably cost a lot more given Juventus need him, but I think like you put him in most Prem teams, he'd do something. I think even at Liverpool, if Liverpool got Yildiz, they'd be great. Like I think he'd be so good in the Prem.
I think we were linked to him at one stage as well, maybe last summer, which is
We've
like
been linked
it's crazy.
this summer a little bit.
Have we? I haven't seen those links, but
it's like he's just never going to leave considering the money. It's so annoyed that we're going through this because I keep remembering other talents and other age groups have gone past, and like because I forget. I do want to quickly mention before we move on. 18 years old, and I know you're probably not going to like this, but there's a guy called Luka Piskovic who plays for Tottenham, and I do want to mention this guy. I've watched him like 7 or 8 times. I watched him a little bit when he played with Hadja Split. He is incredible. This guy's 6'5". Like,
mate, I know. I remember looking at him about a year ago and going, oh, like Tottenham have got some good players. Like I hate to say it, they have got some very good players coming through, but that's as simple as that.
Also, shout out to another shout out for another 18-year-old Chris Rigg from Sunderland.
That's a good shout, mate. That is a good shout.
Chris Rigg is an incredibly versatile player. He can literally play like centre forward, centre mid, attacker midfield, DM. Incredible. Anywhere down the centre he can play. Super like covers a lot of ground. I really am excited to see him in the Prem next season. He's a guy I would recommend anyone watching out for. He is top talent.
And I think he will probably move on after like a year of Premier League football. I think most clubs will then kind of go in and poach him. And you got another one. Please don't say Bergvall now.
Bergvall
I feel like
Bergvall and Gray are good. I will say Bergvall particularly is an insane talent. But there's loads. I want to keep going on there. There's loads of ones in Monaco as well. You can go through. There's Kendry Paz from Independiente who's out Chelsea. Like he's been really highly touted. There's Dernval from Dortmund, who's like another youngster. Vitor Reece, even though we don't watch him for City, he's 19. We don't see him anytime. Severa Nipan, who's 18, who's now just joined City. Like that's
another player on my list who I didn't want to mention, mate.
And then obviously like Caritas, the Greek guy that we were linked to for Genk, like he is 18. He's another credible talent. There is a real lot of talent. It's just hard because some like we say with a lot of these younger ones, we've seen like even like a Hato or like a Kubarasi, like you've seen these guys play consistently at high levels, And then some of these other players you haven't, but you know that they have that potential. It's just that they're like from a different country or from a different team. So it takes a bit of time for them to get in there. But I mean, there's just so much. There's so much. But we go on. We need to move on to actual, proper ones.
Who are we going to choose for 20? João Neves, Doué, Hausen, Yildiz.
I really want to pick. I really want to pick Doué. Like in my eyes, that guy is like he is in my eyes like top 4 in the Ballon d'Or this year. He's had the
really
in the world, like in every single game that matters, he has turned up like considerably. Like he is like if I think about one guy to turn up for PSG in the big games, it's him every time. Like I know Dembele does all the hard work off the ball, and I get that he is like the real hard worker in there, but he's not the one that catches all the lights, and it's Dua every time. And at his age, like I think he was like 19 scoring in the Champions League and stuff. Like I don't know, he's incredible.
I absolutely love the way he plays. Like it's so refreshing. You talked about players that will take other players on, like, and he's happy to do it on the half turn. Like he doesn't have to like stand a player, like square up a player and do that. He can just do it in any way he wants, which is amazing. But I look at like João Neves and I think part of the reason PSG have been so successful this year, over the past season, sorry, not like technically this year now, is because that midfield. And when João Neves went to PSG, I remember saying and going, this is a problem. Like that's who I wanted Arsenal to go for at the time. And I knew it would cost a fortune. But I just looked at him and thought, like, he's almost a perfect player. Like, he's so good at controlling matches. And he's really, really underrated for his ability to like read the game in terms of interceptions and ball recoveries. He's so good for someone who's 20 years old to be able to play the game like he does. And I don't know if PSG, and I know we talked about Zaire Emery coming in, but I don't know if they would be as kind of functional without João Neves now. Whereas I look at Desiree Doué, and if you brought him out and put Barcola in with Kvaratskhelia and Dembele, I don't think the drop-off is as bad, if that makes sense. It just depends. Like, I mean, I'm happy to go with Doué if that's who you want to go with. And I guess in terms of like pure talent on the ball, like
we can give it to João Neves. We can give it to I do like João Neves a lot.
Guys, put it in the comments this week. Like, who do you think, João Neves or Desiree Doué? Who is the best 20-year-old in world football right now? And I feel real bad for Dean Housen, who's probably the best centre back in terms of like under 23. Like, he's unbelievable. We haven't even mentioned him, but we haven't got time. Sorry, Dean, you turned us down and went to those lowly Real Madrid. Right. Anyway, 21. I think 21's worse than 20 for me.
It's pretty weak, isn't it? I think it is one of the weaker ones we've gone through so far.
Yeah. Do you want to go through who you've got on your list?
So we've got Balde from Barcelona, Savinho from Man City.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Diamonde, who is he joining Palace? Because he was, and now I swear he was joining Palace, and now I don't. Maybe because of the Gueye thing, they're kind of waiting because Gueye has.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening at the moment. But I'll quickly go through him from my point of view. I think he was much higher rated last year, especially seeing him against us. He's just he's not assured, and he worries me. Like, if he came over, I originally looked and went, oh, maybe he's like the next successor to Saliba. We could get him in, and over time he could come. Now, I don't think you're ever going to get to those heights, like, or anywhere near. I mean, it's hard comparing Saliba to anyone, to be fair, but he just, something with him, I go, yeah, I'm not too sure. But yeah, anyone else on your list?
There's 3 players that I think, and they all play in the same position, I think are like probably the only people I would consider. And they're Baleba, Romeo Lavia, who I know like injuries and whatever, but I still think he's good. And
yeah, he's so good.
Adam Wharton. I think
Ooh.
I think they're like the three I'm leaning towards. They're all DMs, so maybe that's the DM position. But like, I think out of any of them, the person I probably lean to the most is who is the most complete. I don't know who the most complete is out of Belabor and Wharton. That's actually a really interesting conversation. I think I lean towards
I would
Wharton a little bit.
argue Wharton right now, but Belabor's probably got the higher potential.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
like
I think.
Belabor a lot. Like the point, Belabor is like a genuine like Like I've spoken about him loads on Twitter. I love him so much when I watch him. He does remind me a little bit like Party when Party was young and like could run.
Yeah.
But Belabor's passing is kind of inconsistent sometimes. Like I think low key he has the same issues that Party did, where he sometimes just smashes the ball into players. After a run where he's like maybe not figured it out. But the fact, like, Belabor is so good because he is a player that can genuinely just take the ball in DM. He'll get pressed by two players. He'll like dribble past both of them, just run up the entire pitch. And he also has like an incredible shot distance on him. Like, he hasn't showed it too much, but he can shoot from like 30 to 40 yards out. And like, he can genuinely just create a goal out of his own from DM. He's so good at tempo control. Like, he is just a star. And I think like, a lot of people, it's funny this. I do think this is funny because I've seen Tottenham fans, I've seen United fans go on about we should just get Belabor, we should just get Wharton. And I keep saying respectfully, Adam Wharton and Belabor are like, in my eyes, world-class talents. And I just think the problem is that they cost too much money this summer. They're going to cost 100 mil probably for either
I
of
saw
them.
people saying that we should be getting Belabor this year, not Norgard. And I thought, so how much money do you think we've got? Like, I can genuinely see Belabor going for 80 to 100 mil. Like, I can see that happening. I think Wharton might be a little bit cheaper, maybe, but you're still going to look at 70 to 80 to 90, even like rising with like add-ons. I just don't see how you get rid of him. Because again, look at like what happened with Caicedo. That's the way I look at it. Ironically, for me, I started on the left back route on this age group. So I went Balde and then Kirkez, as I thought, well, they're two of the best left backs in world football right now. They're, 21 years old, being able to have impacts on games like they do as well. Did we mention Pavlovic as well over at Bayern? Like, quite, it hasn't been used that much, but another player that will probably have real high upside at some point. And then Man City have got Cherky. So, unbelievable on the ball talent. So yeah, like this is much kind of more fleshed out than 20 years old, but I don't think anyone's quite at the same level. Who are we looking at? Belabor? I don't know.
To me, it's between Belabor and Wharton. Like, I think Kirchkev, like, is a really good left back. Like, I do think, like, if we talk about left backs in the world, he is in that. I just think he's kind of boring. Like, it's a left back. He's had one.
Yeah,
like,
I think the same with Balde. I think
particularly Kirchkev's had one like incredible season, and no one even knew who he was before last year. Like, I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's Wharton a little bit, but I don't know because I feel like Belabor is like maybe a better player, but I think I feel like Wharton in many ways plays for a team that a little bit more set up with him. But I don't know. Like, it's between.
I think people forget how young Wharton is. I think
he's been around for a while.
I think people probably think he's about 24, and I think a lot of people think Belabor is like 6'4". They don't realize his height. Do you know what I mean? You get these like weird misconceptions about certain players. I'm happy to go with Belabor just in terms of like not only his current talent but the upside on him, like in who I would go for. I guess that kind of defeats the object. Savinho, he's pretty high.
Both of them players though, Belabor and Wharton. If anyone gets them next year, like I think next year, I can't. Like I keep saying, why would they go to United or Tottenham this year when realistically they are like the best midfield talents in the world? But like
United
even then,
wages possibly, but
he's already on like good wages and he plays for a team that are in Europe. Like United aren't in Europe this year, so like he might as well just stay at Palace for a year.
Yep.
and then do anything. Maybe you could say with Belabor, but Brighton are just fundamentally a better team than United as well. So it's like, why would they? I know people can be like, well, and Burmo and like, well, Cunha, though, Wolves are not great, but like ultimately, and Burmo's 27, like he is older, or 20, like he needs to move. Like these players are young, like they got all their time. If you said to Wharton, if you wait a year and Liverpool are going to come in for you, he'd be like, well, I'll just wait a year and then go to one of the best teams in the country. Like, so I think like, yeah, I mean, these two players, every team, if Prem teams have got money next year, that everyone will be trying to get them.
Yep, 100%. Cool. Right, 22. Oh, there's some good talent here. This is okay. We have got Wirtz, Bellingham, Pedri, Musiala, and Barcola. I mean, there are probably others, but I'm unbelievable talent. And it's so weird that they're all kind of similar positions. I mean, they do the role differently, but they're basically all attacking midfielders, aren't they? Go on. Who do you want to go through first? Like, because we should really talk about all of them. Let's be honest. They're unbelievable talents. I'd take any of them.
For me, I feel like I have one guy that I'm like, he's got to win it. He's got to win it. I think he's the best. I think he's one of the best players in the world, man.
Okay, ready? Well, after 3, we'll say the player, because I don't know. I genuinely don't know what Reece is going to say right now. I've got no idea. Okay, so ready? After 3, 3, 2, 1. Pedri.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, he is just unbelievable. Oh my god, this guy's insane. And it's funny because I remember when Gavi was coming through, we didn't even mention Gavi, but I honestly don't think Gavi's very good. That's why I didn't mention him. But like Gavi came through and it was kind of in that sort of, it was when Pedri played that 70 games a season, didn't he? Because he played all of it. It was like 9, he was like 8. It was the last Euro. No, not the last year, it was the years before. He was like super young and he played the Olympics, the Euros, and the entire season with Barca. Ended up playing 70 games and then he obviously like tore his ACL, whatever, was out for a year. And in that period, Gavi kind of came into the team a lot more and like people start to see Gavi. But Gavi is just a much more limited player. Pedri can genuinely do anything he wants to. And it's unbelievable what he can do in the midfield. Barcelona's team is so much better when he's in there because he just does everything. He fills in every gap 100%. They need to. Creatively, he is out of this world, the stuff that he does. And like from like mentality perspective, he's got an insane, like how he reads the game. It genuinely feels like it's like an Iniesta, but he's like way better going forward. Like he is like,
that is like some claim. Oh my god!
Iniesta wasn't like
Iniesta
was like that good at going forward. Like he was all right.
I mean, he was the only player in history, I think, to be like man of the match in a World Cup final, a Euros final, a Champions League final. Like,
yeah,
I mean, it's not like it. That is a mental claim, but I do know what you mean though. Like I mean, I'm also looking at longevity wise with Iniesta and stuff, but I think Pedri, ironically, if you're looking at this bunch, he's probably the one that's talked about the least as well, which is insane. Like they all do things completely differently. Like Bellingham, I guess, is the more athlete out of the 4. Kind of, you know, late runs, charges. He's that type of player. You've got Wirtz, who is more of your kind of creative 10, I guess. Then you've got Musiala, who on the ball, like ability to beat a man. But Pedri's just all round for me. He's unbelievable. He's so good. And he's almost, I think because he's at Barca and they just, you know, the constant regens of players, and they're players who are just so good on the ball, competent in all areas. I think it's almost like everyone just goes, oh yeah, that's expected. Whereas the other players, I mean,
it's every Barca player. There's so many, and I think people kind of just get lost in them. Like even Fermin Lopez is like the same age as this. He plays in the same position as Pedri, and I think Fermin Lopez is class. Like he's such a good player, but he gets even like, you know, that like meme of like the kid in the swimming pool, and it's like then it's like he holds them up. It's like, oh yeah, we don't even see. It's like Bellingham's getting holed up, Pedri's in the water, and then like for me, Lopez is like in the bottom of the water. It feels like that. Like even him, he's incredible talent, but you're just never gonna hear of him because you don't even hear Pedri that much, which is
No.
insane as well. Like I don't even know why you don't hear about Pedri that much. Because I mean, I guess it's probably because of the Yamal and Rafinha thing, and I feel like you hear so much about even Kubarasi. You hear so much about since he's come through. So I feel like you don't get it. But like all these players in individually, like Bellingham, in my opinion, from an actual like technical football standpoint, is limited more than all these other players. But
Yeah,
that
I
is
agree.
because he is a lot bigger. He's a different player. Like he isn't someone that is also very effective on the ball. Sometimes it's more about his runs off the ball, but then he's not great at defending. But it's like it gives or takes a lot of things. I think like Musiala is by far, in my opinion, probably the best dribbler in the world. Like I do really think he is. I think he can genuinely just dribble past an entire
Yeah,
team.
it depends what kind of dribbling. Like I think, like we mentioned Doué earlier. I think Doué's right up there as well. But yeah, he's like I've talked to George about this on Cannon Podcast. George loves Musiala, and he looks at him as like the player that we should go and get. You know, the kind of final piece of the puzzle per se. I mean, he's had this horrendous injury now, which is such a shame. But yeah, Musiala in terms of being able to beat a man and beat a game plan, that you need players like that sometimes to, when you're playing against like a Man City at their peak, to be able to beat them. Sometimes you just need a player that can beat someone, and then it changes the whole structure and shape of a team. He's just so good. Like so good. And then Wirtz, unfortunately, he's gone to Liverpool. That's the end of him.
But it's definitely different.
That's
like,
a joke, by the way.
It's definitely different because like it's the same thing with like I think like we said, I think other than maybe Barcola, I think Bellingham is probably the fourth best player there. But if I'm in a Champions League final, like who do I think will step up? I think it's probably Bellingham. I think he's the most likely player because that he is the sort of guy that he doesn't need to be the best player in the world to be like amazing. Like he just finds a way sometimes to
Yeah.
make things work. And I think that is in a sense that is the real benefit of a Bellingham in this club, like and in the side. Like so I don't know, like all these players are individually great. I just feel like Pedri doesn't get enough love sometimes, and I feel like
No,
he
I agree with
deserves it,
that.
man. That guy's so good.
Yeah, I mean, we'll quickly go over Barcola and Wirtz, I guess, because they're both unbelievable players. I think Wirtz is going to be really interesting how he's used at Liverpool long term, whether he is out on the left, whether he is kind of more central. Unbelievable pass, can read the game like perfectly. I think he's such a good buy for Liverpool, like regardless of the cost. He's a player that if you can get him, you have to get him. So I completely understand it from Liverpool. And Barcola, oh, I wish we could get him. Like do you know what? I saw some really poor links today with Rodrigo to PSG, and there was a part of me that thought, oh yeah, I'd like Rodrigo to come to Arsenal, but from my point of view, I was looking going, oh, that'd be lovely. PSG go and get Rodrigo, and we just go, do you know what? Barcola, come to us. Come play for the Arsenal. We've got a position here for you. It's fine. And you just put Barcola in because he's almost like the perfect fit for our system. Like, and there's so much upside with him. But again, another player dribbling ability, like the pace and power he possesses, transition and speed and space. Unbelievable player as well. I think he's got an amazing future ahead of him. He's just not at this current time on the same level as the Wirtz, Bellingham, Pedri, and Musiala. He's not played slightly below, but
he's not played as much at the same level as any of these other guys, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Barcola though. I think my 5th ever video was about him. That's my.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when he was linked to Chelsea, but but yeah, like I don't know, like I feel like Barcola is like he's just so ashamed that he's kind of become that like secondary guy at PSG. But I get they are the Champions League winners, so it's not like the worst. Like they are the current best team, you could argue. But like, yeah, it's just one of them things where I also think like Barcola probably will be on the market next year if he doesn't play. Like, it's one of them things where when someone comes in to replace a player, you usually see it take about a year and then that player leaves. You don't really see it instant
Yeah.
a lot of the times. So, I
I
mean,
wonder
maybe we
how
just
much
wait.
he's currently on. Let me have a little look a minute. Because I bet he's still on good wages. We
Just so
know.
annoying, isn't it? If like PSG never won a Champions League, and then they decided to actually just go and buy Liga and talent, and then they go and win one. It's crazy that. It's crazy that like Liga and talent is everywhere, and everyone's buying it, and they just never bothered. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, even like Diaby or Ekatike, these are all PSG players. They could have just kept
Okay.
them.
He is on 126,000 euros base pay a week, according to Capology. So, yeah, not bad money.
That's not too bad. I also think
We could-
also.
I mean, we can.
Yeah.
It's possible that Arsenal could do that, but it's. Well, I mean, what's that in? Oh, so
About
110 grand a week in terms of pounds. So I mean, it's not out of the realms of possibility for Arsenal, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, he is a bit low level behind the others. I mean, he's also got Camavinga. Not talking about, there's another player in there. Like, I think he is good. I think his hype has died a little bit because of. I mean, he hasn't particularly been great, but he's also been forced to play in like left back, right
he's a
back.
player that I would have liked to have seen in like the left 8 role, like for us. Like I think he would have been really, really interesting.
He'd be
but
so
we're
good
just-
for us. He'd be so good for. I think so. He is great for Real Madrid. Like, even against us, I felt like in the home leg, he was the only one that actually played all right. I know he got red carded in it because he kicked the ball away, but I felt like in that game he was actually okay. Like, I know I saw a lot of criticism after, and I think it was mostly because of the red card. I was like, I actually felt like out of any of their team, he was the one player that I was like, yeah, all right. And the rest of the team,
to
like
be fair, he's
Modric,
one of the only players with any legs.
yeah,
able to get
exactly.
around,
Then
like-
Modric, who I said before the game started, I did like a pre-show, and I said that like if Modric tries to take us out, he's never going to get anywhere near us. He's 40. I was like, yeah, they just didn't. But for me, I'd give it to Pedri. But I mean, any of these players, like it depends what you love. I could Musiala is like I love Musiala, but
Yeah.
I know Pedri for me.
No, I agree with that. We'll go with Pedri. I'm happy with that. Okay, 23. Interesting one. Okay, I'm going to start off with our own Bukayo Saka. He is one of the top 3 right wingers in world football, like regardless of his age, which is mad to think. Then you're looking at Salah, who's 33, and Yamal, who's 18, and then you got Saka, who's 23. Like it's so bizarre that they're like complete different ends of the spectrum, all of them. I think Saka has to have a mention. Cole Palmer, he has to be in with a shout now, just like for his GA alone. Elise, Caicedo, and then the last one I've got, possibly the best fullback in world football over the past season, Nuno Mendes. I think he's been unbelievable. But whether you can kind of put him up there with the others, I don't know. It's really hard, isn't it? Because when you're comparing, sometimes you kind of take the position out, and me personally, I'm always drawn to the attacking players and the players like on the ball who are the best. But who's sticking out there for you, mate?
Yeah. I mean, I've also got on mine. I've got like, I mean, I don't think he's like this level maybe right now, but I think if you're going to put some of them, like Gravenberch deserves a shout, like especially for last season. I do think Vardial is definitely like a contender for this position. I think he is probably one of the best defenders in the world. I actually think last season at the start of it, he's such a weird player because he was just making these massive mistakes that led to goals, but then he was also their best defender because he just was consistent. So I was like, I don't know, man. Like he is good though. Usually, I'm like a massive Nuno Mendes, not hater, but I just get really sick of it sometimes because I just get sick of like I watch all these podcasts and I watch all these interviews and these people who do this content, and they're kind of like it's sort of the base view of like you go up to someone in the street and go, who's the best left backs in the world, like last year, and they'll go like, I don't know, Tio Hernandez, Nuno Mendes, like DeMarco, and I'm just like, are these players that good though? Like they're fine, they're okay, but like they're not tested. I don't feel like DeMarco plays in like DeMarco is like a common example of this. Everyone was going on about how he's the best left back in the world. He's going to dominate, and then he got absolutely cooked in both the semi-finals against
You
Barcelona
did actually.
and the final, and the final against PSG. And I get he's playing the best wingers in the world, but like Timber had a better defensive performance, but isn't better going forward. But no one cares because it's like because he's not that flashy, and that just annoyed me.
But I do
And
think Timber he's probably in the top 3 like one-on-one defenders in world football, but it just never gets mentioned apart from by Arsenal fans. It's so frustrating. Like it's almost like a a quality that's just foregone now. Everyone just kind of goes off, and I think sometimes Nuno Mendes' pace gets him out of certain situations. I think for him to actually be like a world best defender, he has to do it over a longer period. Like I much prefer Hakimi. I know Hakimi has got his own drawbacks as well, but he's done it for so long. He is a level above Mendes, but I think that's something different. But I think he just has to kind of go in just I think in terms of like defenders in that age group, he's the standout one for me.
I do think Nuno Mendes is like a little bit better than like these players. Like I do think he has showed that level in the Champions League. But like even now, like I hear people say like, oh, he was so good in every game. He wasn't that good against us. Like he was okay against us, but he wasn't like amazing. Like him and Saka had a pretty good battle, and Saka beat him quite a lot. But I see like reports now that it's not.
Who do you think performed the best in all 3 games? Because we actually played PSG an extra game. Out of him and Miles Lewis-Skelly, I think Miles came on in the first game, didn't he? I don't think he played the entire 90. But do you think Miles performed better than Nuno?
I think he only played like a minute in the first game, but like yeah, I mean, this is the thing as well with Miles. Like, people always find sticks to beat players with when they just find it apparent. Like, I've seen even people that I respect be like, "Wow, if he can sort out his discipline," it's like realistically, his discipline is not a problem.
That whole thing is just
and like everything else that Miles does is no one else is doing. Like no one else is carrying the ball from left back, going past 5 players and taking it on. Yes, he has his limitations, but every player has his limitations. Like Nuno Mendes, just because of his pace, is very helpful. But there's a lot of times he misses tackles. Against Saka, I've seen people say like you locked down Saka. He really didn't. Saka had many chances and got past him a lot. And that was not even a fully fit Saka after the time. So like I think like. I don't know. Like, I get it's hard for a fullback because genuinely, like, no fullback against these wingers we're talking about are going to have an easy, clean game. But I do think, like, we don't get to see Nuno Mendes play at this level consistently. Like, and it's not like he's got 100% record what he is. To me, it's like 50-50 as an incredible game or a mid game. In my opinion, Dumfries in the top games this season has been the best fullback. He's been incredible in these games. And yes, I get that's very system dependent, especially how into play. But I just feel like it's really hard for me to get behind these players when I'm just not convinced entirely because I just don't see it enough. And I think like Nuno Mendes, like I think because their left back position is particularly weak right now, like I do, it's a bit same with Bolde. Like I think Bolde is one of the best left backs in the world. He's still got a lot to learn, but people don't care. He doesn't even start for Barca all the time. Barca have been talking about selling him this summer because they wanted money and they thought he could get them there. So like it's really weird for me with these positions to kind of find the role they are. I think from other players in this age group, like. I mean, I still think Saka is the best 23-year-old, but I do think he needs to he is still recovering from this injury. And I think that's quite clear. And he still isn't convincing me too much. Like, I still worry a little bit about him at the moment. So I would like to see him, I mean, even if he's not fully fit for now, we've got other options there, like play a Madueke if you have to, play a Waneri, play a Dowman if you have to. Like, we have options. So maybe rest him a little bit. And that's hopefully why Madueke's come in a lot. Because I do worry a lot about him. But like the thing is, people will say, well, Olise's better because of his goals and assists, but like you play in the league that allow forwards to have so much space.
Yeah, I think Olise has been a fantastic buy, and the amount they paid for him, he's a player I would have loved, but we could never tempt him away. If you got a choice to go to Bayern and start and basically become their number one winger, or come and play second fiddle to Saka. It's always going to be Bayern, wasn't it? I think Caicedo does need a quick mention, simply because last year I think his season was really, really underrated. He was one of the best centre midfielders in the league, and I know Chelsea were kind of stop-start in the league, and he's never got like the same partner. I think if he had Lavia with him more often, we would see a much better version of Caicedo. But right now, he's, with the amount that Chelsea spent on him, that price tag is almost like lingering above him. And I think most people are using, you said about people beating someone with a stick. That's what they're using with Caicedo. A lot of the time, they're just going, oh, yeah, well, you paid that much for him, and he's not. He has been very, very good. But in terms of this category, I don't think we can put him right up there. For me, it has to be Saka. I think he's just on every level, big games, Champions League, leading his team. He's the one who's doing that. Arsenal would not be where they are without Bukayo Saka. He's been the person who's led the charge, back towards challenging for titles.
Also not going to give credit to Caicedo because of the Rice and stupid stuff about like all these Chelsea fans. I don't care anymore. I'm not giving. I was nice about Caicedo for years, but I'm not giving any credit anymore. Bad enough. Bad enough. Because I've been getting messages like I get DMs and stuff being like, "Why do Chelsea fans hate Rice so much?" And I was like, I just don't know. I don't know. I don't care either. Like I just don't get it. It's just some sort of agenda.
No, it's crazy, isn't it? Okay, right. 24. Another player from our age group, that is an Arsenal player. So we've got William Saliba, Rodrigo, and then Kvaratskhelia. I don't think Rodrigo is as good as the other two. I really don't. I think he can get a level higher than he's played. He's like, he's playing out of possession. He's often the person who has to do the hard yards in a team that doesn't do any running, essentially, apart from him and Valverde. So I do really feel sorry for the lad, but he's just not in the same conversation. I think Saliba has to be in a conversation simply because he's one of the best centre-backs in world football, regardless of his age. And then Kvaratskhelia was, that's a master stroke of a signing. Do you know what really annoys me, right? Is that there's a lot of Arsenal fans going, why didn't Arsenal get him? I don't understand. Like, number one, the deal was pretty much unfeasible for us. Like we couldn't go like toe to toe with PSG in terms of money. Also, the deal was agreed like 12 months in advance. Like people seem to like completely neglect this. Like he was always going to PSG. That was always going to happen. So, like, it just drives me insane. Like, I would love him at the club. Obviously, he is one of the best wingers in world football, but it was just never going to happen. So, people, please drop it because it's driving me insane. Anyway,
it's funny as well because I remember a conversation a year ago between some analysts where I was watching, and they spoke about Leao or Kvaratskhelia, and a lot of them were like, "Well, Leao is better at nearly everything." And has been better over a longer period of time in the same league. And I do think this is something that people do forget. Kvaratskhelia wasn't that good at Napoli for that long. Like, he was incredible when he first came in. And then he had 8 months where he didn't get a goal contribution. And then they tried to sell him, and then he didn't leave. And then he was, like, okay for about 5 months. And they sold him in January. Like, he was, like, obviously is an incredible talent. We can all see that. But, it's not necessarily, they still pay a lot of money for him, and he wasn't necessarily like this insane player. Like I remember at the time talking about him, and if he was like, if you want, I get the whole like he works a bit harder than Leao a little bit. He's not great at defending though. But like it depends what you want and what Arsenal need. And I always felt like, I don't know, I just never felt like Creech was a good fit for Arsenal. I know a lot of people say he was. I just kind of felt like he is a dribbler, but I just don't. I don't know. I wasn't necessarily sure. His shooting is pretty erratic. He shoots like in the same locations quite a lot, and like it's fine. Yes, it's fine for PSG. It's fine, but these are things that I look at like in the Prem for Arsenal. Because realistically, do Arsenal want to win the Prem or the Champions League? We want to win the Prem. That is the aim more than the Champions League. And is he going to be able to do that reliably in the Prem? Like I think now it's easier to say, well, he probably would have, but I don't know. Before he signed for PSG, I wasn't necessarily completely sure about him, and he particularly wasn't coming off great form for the last like 12 months before that. So I was always just like, yeah, Creature's very good. Like, and I think now, like after the Champions League, after this season he's had the last 6 months, he's definitely probably one of the best 24-year-olds in the world. But I do think like it is that sort of thing of coming in. I've got some other players on here just to like pad it out a little bit. I got Yuri and Timber because that's my guy. I thought I'd put another Arsenal player in
No,
there.
I had him on my list as well. I just thought when I'm going through this, he's not like the star name. But that's sad, isn't it? Because I said it earlier, like one-on-ones. Like, who is better than him one-on-one defending in wide areas? Like, there's not many, let's be honest.
No, he is so good. I also have Alphonso Davies on here because I know that like he got injured and now he Twitch streams and his reactions and he's like crying on stream, bless him. And I know that like it's one of those things where someone like he's another left back, so you think I'd hate him, and I don't particularly like love him because he's a left back and that's how it is. But like he is actually really good. Like he's actually proven for years that he was this winger type. He come into defense, but he's actually a good defender. He's a good, decent one-on-one. He works really hard off the ball. He's like great at positional, and he is good going forward. Like not amazing. He's not like elite. He's a good crosser. He's not great like finisher or anything. But he's like not a bad player. Like, and I do think like he is. I would still consider one of the best left backs in the world. There's a reason why Real Madrid were going to get him before he re-signed with Bayern. And he's in there. And I also do want to mention. I know this might be a bit crazy. There's two players. There's Szoboszlai, purely just because I like Szoboszlai, and I think he's more of a functional player than like a flashy player. Like he isn't going to get loads of goals and assists. I think that goes against him. But also Alex Buena, who, in my opinion, is better than Rodrigo. So like, I think like Alex Buena.
I mentioned him, didn't I? Do you remember ages ago? I said, he is a player that we could be looking at in terms of like a left winger /8. Like he's.
And now he's at Atleti.
He's so good.
Now he's at Atleti. Like he'll probably end up having like some incredible season, and then you'll see him everywhere now next season, starting for Spain. All these play, and it's just one of the things where like he has been in the last 2 years. He's been the best creator in the world, nearly. I think in all the statistics. And like he's playing at a high level. Like Villarreal aren't a good club, but like he's playing at a high level still. So you know, it's one of them things where maybe you need to see him transform it into the Champions League games, into the Madrid games, but. I mean, like in a year's time, I wouldn't be surprised if he's like high on this list compared to some of these players, especially if Rodrigo never leaves. For me, it's probably like I think I do think Saliba is undoubtedly like the second best centre back in the world, and the other one's a decade older than him. And I don't think any centre backs are anywhere near Saliba's level, other than maybe like Gabriel, who's like still quite a big distance away. So like I would do that, but obviously like another Arsenal player is a bit crazy. Like I do think Creature's fair enough. Like
I think it's really difficult. Like if we're talking left wingers in world football, right? Who are the top 3 left wingers in world football right now? I guess you'd have to put Rafinha in there. I mean, I guess Kvicha has to be in there.
Yeah.
As of right now. And third, it's not going to be one of ours. I'll tell you that.
I guess, like, I mean, you're arguably putting like Barcola in there. He's like the backup, like,
which is really bad, isn't it? I mean, I'm really wanting. There's probably some of that.
Oh, Vinny,
I'm just not thinking.
I mean,
I guess so. So he is in that conversation, but then if I'm looking at top centre backs in the world, I think Saliba has to be in there.
Yeah,
so I think
so much more selective.
The argument could go either way, but I think longevity-wise, I think Saliba will have a better career than Kvicha Kvaratskhelia. I just think he will. So for me, I'm biased anyway, but I think Saliba goes in there right now.
Yeah, I think so, like, yeah, he's like insane.
Yeah, we got 2 Arsenal players in. 3! We've got Dowman in 15 as well. Yes!
Oh, no.
We are the best team in the world. Okay, 25. We've got Erling Haaland, always like a forgotten man, which is really weird. We've got Vitinha, definitely worth a shout this year. Vinicius, Alexander Isak. I mean, I've got Julian Alvarez here as well. I guess he deserves a mention.
Deserves a shout.
Anyone else that I'm missing?
Not really. I mean, a few years ago, Reece James would have been a contestant, but he's just never really stayed fit. Everyone else is like, Kulusevski's a really, really good player, but he's just not like this level, is he?
No.
I will say on 24, it is funny how like Enzo Fernandez, one of the biggest signings of all time, doesn't even get mentioned. And I just don't like, he's been good the last couple of months, but I just don't think he's that good. I don't know. I just don't.
Yeah.
I think Chelsea have ruined him a little bit, but I don't know. For 25, this is like, I mean, I've got a big bias, but I actually like, because obviously I don't get to speak to many footballers ever, but obviously I did have interviewed Vitinha for one question, which is like
I was wondering where that was going then, mate.
Which is one of my like claims to fame now. Like obviously, like it was like a massive privilege at uni to speak to him in COVID. And like it was so cool. And now he's like see the things that he's gone on to do. It's great. I do think Vitinha is overrated. Like I do think he is overrated. Like I do think when I watch PSG play, I think he does great things, and there's some games he just wins them. Like the Champions League final, he was unbelievable in it. But I watched a lot of their Club World Cup games, and I'm like, he's just caught out of position here. He's made that poor pass. He's not made this pass. I was like, if that's Rice on Twitter, I was going crazy. I was
he
like,
gets killed.
It's just because it's Vitinha. And I was like, I think like when I look at their midfield, I think Fabio Ruiz does all the dirty work. I think João Neves is the real star, and Vitinha does a bit of both. I think, but I do think there's sometimes he can get quite quiet in games. And I think that doesn't mean he's bad. I think he's one of the best midfielders in the world, but I don't think he is like Ballon d'Or worthy, world class, because he won the Nations League. So everyone was like, oh, he should win the Ballon d'Or because he won the Nations League. And I'm like, no, like I just don't see it. But the other like Vinny, Isak, and Haaland, like in their own ways, are like you could make arguments for really.
For me, right now, I think it's Isak. Which is crazy because if you look at Haaland's numbers, they're just outrageous over the last, even last 12 months. They're insane. But he's not like aesthetically pleasing. Like when I watch him, and if I think about in terms of actual skill, I think Isak is a better footballer. Haaland knows what he is. Haaland is a battering ram and will get you ridiculous amounts of goals. He just will. I think Vinicius, he's so petulant as well. I just don't want to give him it just for his attitude anyway. So, he's not coming to the FOKLZ award ceremony, is he? He's not turning up for this anyway. So he's not getting it just for that. For me, I think as of right now, Isak, whether or not he stays fit or if he moves and that continues, I don't know. But God, there are some very good players, aren't there? I'd say for me right now, I'm going with Isak, but up to you, mate.
Yeah, we go with Isak. I agree with you. I think Isak's a better footballer overall, but ultimately, I guess Haaland does have one job and he does do it the best in the world. So, it's one of them things where it depends what you really care about. I care more about an overall football player, than what, but it doesn't diminish anything from Haaland. And Vinny, it's like you said, I just do not like that guy. I'm just so done with all of his stick all the time. I'm done with when we played them and what he acted like. I just cannot be bothered anymore to even bother to he is good, he is world class, he's one of the best wingers in the world, but he is holding himself back with his attitude and making tweets when he doesn't win the Ballon d'Or, I'll come back times 10 next year, and then he has a worse year. It's just it's memeable.
I think internationally as well, he just doesn't.
He's good. He's awful internationally.
Martinelli's probably better than him internationally. I'd love to look at his his actual stats against Martinelli. That'd be interesting.
If you're gonna talk stuff on Twitter, you've got to back it up. famous man Shotzi once said when he was dissing everyone in January in the COD scene. Everyone was laughing at him, and then he's just gone and won the World Championship back to back. So you're like, well, fair enough, can't say anything about him. But at the time it was memeable because they were awful. But like it's the same with this man. Like you just gotta learn sometimes to only you just can't say stuff when you're just not doing well.
No, you just can't. All right, 26. And let us know actually if you agree. Isaac, Haaland, or Vinicius. Who are you going for? Or Vitinha, I guess. 26. We have got Kylian Mbappe, Declan Rice. I'm putting him in there. McAllister, Hakimi. I'm going to throw Rafa Leao in there. I think Leao deserves a little mention. There are others. For me, I think it's pretty obvious who this is, but
I've got some others I do want to quickly mention. I've got Konate, who I do think deserves a mention. I've got Trent, who I do think also deserves a mention. And I know that he is in Turkey, but Victor Osimhen is still one of the best strikers in the world.
He is.
Oh,
it's so frustrating, isn't it? Like, come and play. Like, come to us and play. Or I don't know.
That's the most frustrating. Like, I saw a video where they went through what their most annoyed signing of the summer was, and someone put that, and I was like, yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, maybe I would have been annoyed if he went to Chelsea or something, because I know he's good, but like him at Galatasaray is just a waste. It's just a waste.
Isn't it?
It's just annoying. Like watching a talent like that. I mean, this is a pretty stacked. 26. You expect it to be stacked. That was just before peak, really. I do want to speak quickly about Leao because I think it's a good time. I am all aboard the Leao train again. I've completely 180'd again. So I should get Leao. I don't even care because, it changes every week. But I would rather us spend 50 mil on Leao than 90 mil on Rodrigo. I'd rather us do that. I just would rather us do that.
Leao or Eze, if we can only get one.
I mean, I've always been pretty open about how I'd want a winger over a midfielder because I think that's more important. And I think if anyone watched the game against Newcastle, I think there was one clear problem where I was like, all we need is a one-on-one guy. And I was like, we don't even need Leao to defend. If we just put Leao where Trossard was, he'd be so good in that game.
The finish against Liverpool as well. That finish, I went, like he shows sometimes what he can do. And I do think, I quite often say environment is king. I do wonder if he came to Arsenal and we've said it multiple times, haven't we? Arsenal one of the few teams that out of possession that could afford a Leao. How it would work long term, I don't know, but I'm sure you can accommodate him at certain, stages of games or in certain competitions and things. How much do you reckon it would cost? I know before it was, silly money. They're talking like 90, 100 mil. How much do you think it would cost to get him now? Because he's had falling outs with Milan. He's had all sorts kind of going on.
I think what the reports are, before this summer started, that they would be looking for anywhere around 60 million euros, which is like 50 million pounds, which is like, this is what I'm saying. Like, if he's for around that price, I know the wages will be quite a lot. Like, I'd imagine around 200k, maybe a bit more, because he is on. I'm pretty sure that might be the issue. He's on a big wage at them because obviously when they won the league, they re-signed him, and that was when everyone wanted him. I kind of feel like Milan have done this with a lot of their players, and they've kind of screwed over. When they won the league, they basically signed Mike, him, Theo Hernandez, all into these big contracts, and now no one wants them. But if it's 50 mil, I know the wages will be expensive. I still think I would rather, I just think I'd rather us do that than Rodrigo at this point. I just don't think Rodrigo is worth the money. At the start, it was 70 mil, but now it's looking more like 90 mil. And apparently his wages are astronomical, way more than Leao's going to be. Apparently he wants to be the highest at the club. And I'm like, I don't think you're the best talent at the club, so I don't think you deserve to be on the best.
No, I think he wants 350, doesn't he? I'm looking at it. So Leao he's 100 just over 105 base pay, and then another 40-ish, so about 150 grand a week, which isn't insane. I thought it would be more. I thought he'd be on 200 plus. So I mean, if it's 50 mil, it actually makes sense. He's a
And
player
you
who
could,
can play centrally as well. Like I
yeah.
think, like he's so tall. Like he's actually like a really big guy. Um, he would
I
be
think as
such an
well,
interesting. He'd be an exciting player if we could get Eze
oh,
and Leao.
I see it a lot.
That's nuts.
Leao's the sort of sided as well, where it does make teams notice. Like I've seen a lot of fans because I think the common perception around Leao is that he is still this amazing player, and he is. But like we all know the problems about him. But I
Yeah,
think like a lot of that worries a lot of people. That is like an elite player to sign, and something about Leao is that like. I mean, he clearly likes the club. I mean, anyone's seen all the interactions he's had with the club over the last couple of months. It's been quite evident. And I'm sure he'd love to play for Arsenal. And he knows that he's going to a bigger pond basically, and he is going to be a
yeah,
small fish in that pond. And like, well, you could do something where you go, we'll give you 180k a week, and then if you scored this amount of goal, we'll give you a bonus for every involvement you do. And then that could end up being around 250k a week, but he actually has to turn up and perform.
yeah.
So then that gives him even more of incentive. And I do think even if it isn't Arsenal, he needs to get out of Milan because he should have left 2 years ago, but he needs to have a different environment to sort of see where his talent is. And I still think he is one of the best left wingers on his day easily.
He's such a contrast to Rodrigo in terms of, I think, in terms of output and what he can do, like from touchline. His ability to like get inside quick and beat players is so different to Rodrigo. Like they're so, yeah, polarizing profiles. I would love Leao to come. I really would. And I think it's one of those signings that would get the fans going.
Yeah, the
Like it
fans
really would.
love it.
Like I was checking just then. So Nick King, who I mentioned last week, he's my resident shirt sponsor guy. Do you know what? I've got one of my shirts next to me actually from him there. So he texted me earlier. I love this. And he just wrote Leao liking Jokerez's latest Instagram post. I was like he is on everything. But there's all these little things. Wasn't he wearing one of the Arsenal shirts recently? Was it an Henri shirt, I think, maybe?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, there's little things he kind of drops in, and I think, like, footballers know what they're doing. Like, they know what they're doing. I do find... I'm not saying he's moving to Arsenal, but...
It's one of them
It
things,
is
though,
weird.
like, I think he would. I've said this loads, but I think he would happily move to Arsenal. It's just if the club will do it, and I don't know if Arteta will move into that. But with the
I
fact
could
Bert
see
has come,
Berta do it.
yeah, well, this is the thing. Bert has come in. He's changed everyone's opinion about maybe a Jokeres, and Leao fits that sort of mold of just buying players that are maybe good. And like the thing is with Leao, I think a lot of people look at him being a counter-attacking player and being like, well, he's going to be great on the break, which is where he is the best. But like when we were playing against that low mid block against Newcastle, we were getting space out for Trossard on the left. And I was like, this little bit of amount of space and this quick one-on-one, Leao would love. He'd just go straight past them and he'd be in that box. And I was like, that is a low block, like a solution to a low block and mid block, which
Yep.
we've been struggling. A one-on-one, like inevitable player. He's physically big. He won't struggle in the league at all with his height and how big he is. He's proper strong. He's a power runner. Do we really have any power runners other than like Rice in space and Miles and that's it? Like he is a real like power runner, like in contact and in tight areas. And I just look at it and go like, if there's a deal like 50 mil, if 50 mil is like not crazy, like it's just 50 mil is a risk Arsenal could take on a player that can literally play even off the bench in big games where we need that goal in the Champions League, or like against the smaller teams. He would just absolutely crush smaller teams in the Prem. Like he would just run a riot against them. And I think a lot of the mentality concerns that you have with him are like fair, but I think that would be so negated at Arsenal. Like I don't think that would be that much of an issue. So I'm just like, if there's a deal to be done, like we have to consider Leao. Like I actually think I look at all the other wingers of the market, like even a Gordon. Like a Gordon does help us tactically. It's going to cost 90 mil, and is he like he is good, but like I still think Leao like can play as a wide winger. Like he is.
When you're talking about like say what is it 68 for Eze? They're saying
yeah.
So 68 plus like 50, so you're looking at what, like 118. My maths might be completely off there, but about 118 mil, and then you're talking like Rodrigo for 90. Like straight away, that's crazy money, and you're filling the squad with solutions in terms of, like, you talk about power running. I look at Eze's ability to beat a man. Transition, suddenly we're a transitional threat. So if you're chasing games, last year we talk about mid blocks and low blocks all the time. We had a huge problem as well with overturning like deficits. When we were down, we really struggled to turn games around. And I think if you've got players like Gyökeres or Madueke or an Eze or a Leao, that changes suddenly. That's one of the things I liked about Calafiori, actually. It's a real shame. I hope he's not like severely injured. It doesn't seem like he has been from the Newcastle game, but that's something he gives, like the ability to drive forward and cause chaos. And I think they both do that in terms of Eze and Leao. He'd just be exciting, wouldn't he? But is he on a 26-year-old? Is he up there with Mbappe, really? Let's be honest. I think Mbappe's
it's crazy because when they were 23, like Leao was just in this conversation. He just was in this conversation when he won the Serie A, almost single-handedly with the defense for Milan. Like, he was unbelievable, and it's such a shame that like he isn't like fell off. He's still a great player, but it's such a shame that like, you know, this is the sort of level we're at. I mean, I'm a massive Mbappe like guy. I love Mbappe. I think he's class. I think, you know, yeah, it's not worked brilliantly at Madrid. I think that's more Madrid's fault. Like, he is a player that shouldn't need to press because he is the world, well, in my opinion, the best player in Europe. Like, he can not press because he is that good. I like with Leao and stuff, that is maybe the issue you argue with him, because like, is he that good anymore? No, so he needs to work harder. But like, Mbappe is just that good. Like, and I think he's way better than Vinny. If it's a choice between either of them or anyone at Madrid, I'm getting rid of any of them from Mbappe. Like, he is the future. He has always been good, and I don't think it will stop. Like, a poor season for him is scoring 40 goals. Like, that is just a poor season. Like, it's just like Ronaldo numbers at this point. He is so good.
Yeah, he is. I mean, a quick mention of Hakimi. I think he's up there in terms of like best fullbacks in world football. Declan Rice as well, McAllister, both, you know, fantastic midfielders.
I mean, it's like Osimhen. Osimhen's one of the best strikers, but he's going to Galatasaray. So it's like, well, is this whole Serie A
null and void at that point?
Maybe don't go to the Serie A in your 20s for too long. Only stay there for like 3 years, guys. Like, get out like Creature did. Yeah, like Creature did. He got out. He's like, that's what you need to do.
I'm done. That's it. Yeah, I think Mbappe, yeah, he is. He's right up there. Okay, 27. I've put in 2 Arsenal players here. So Valverde, I think he's one of the standouts. Victor Gyökeres, I'm putting him in because regardless of how he does for Arsenal, if you are looking at him at this age, he's outscored his stats are insane. They're insane. So I think you have to have him in regardless. So just take Arsenal out of the equation. And then the last one, Gabriel. Like, he's so underrated still by people. He's starting to get his flowers. And I think a lot of pundits are starting to come around because it hung over him. Everyone's saying, oh, he makes mistakes and he's really rash. Whereas now, he's not. Like, he's incredibly good. He's aggressive, but he's got measured aggression, and I think he has to be in there. Out of the 3, who are you going for?
I do want to say a quick shout out as well to Lautaro Martinez, who's 27. I do think he is like he. The thing is, he'll never leave Inter. Like, it's just probably never going to happen. But he is just a consistent. Like, I remember what Icardi used to be, and like all these like insane like players that Inter have had over the years, and like he's just doing it consistently, way more than any of these other players. He's just so good. He's on a volley. He's probably the best striker in the world, to be honest. I also put in there Bruno Guimaraes because I do think he is really good. I'm ashamed he's at Newcastle. I just think like Gabriel, in my eyes, is probably the most reliable centre back in the world now, which is kind of crazy to think. I just genuinely think he's that good. And also, I forgot to mention for 26 is Bastoni, because I do think when you talk about best centre backs in the world, like especially left-footed ones, they're the 2 that I really think about.
I've actually got him here on my list. I just didn't read them out for some strange reason. No, yeah.
I just think they're so good. Like Gabriel is so good, man. He's not like the best. The thing is, that's really weird about him is like he was quite rash. He sorted that out. He was a bit, he got a bit angry sometimes. He sorted that out. He became a proper leader. His passing wasn't very good until about 18 months ago. Like it really wasn't. Now he's an elite long passer, way better than Saliba in my eyes. Can pass it from anywhere. Like he is just so reliable. He is like basically the heart and soul of Arsenal at the moment. And he probably like I don't care about captaincy. I think Odegaard is, leads by example and in many ways should
You've
be
read
the
my
captain.
mind here.
But Gabriel is like, old fashioned what you would class as like the captain. And I think in many ways he is the captain at the club. And he's been here probably the longest within the first team.
He'll be up there now. Yeah,
with Saka and stuff. So like it's a long time. He's been here a long time. I'm so happy he signed that contract. If anyone deserves to win a trophy in this club, it's him. And he's just so good. Like I can't like sometimes like it is hard not to be biased, but especially when it comes to our two centre backs, I think everyone in the world knows how good Gabriel and Saliba are, especially together where they make each other better. That to me, I just think it's hard to look past.
I think he's with Van Dijk, probably the best two-way player in terms of in-box players. Like he is incredibly good at defending the box headering. He's incredibly good with attacking heading. He's so good. It's unbelievable. And you've seen it recently. Like I wouldn't say we've missed him per se. Like, the performances have been relatively good in preseason, but he just takes us to a whole different level when he's there. It's imperative that we keep him at the club. It's great that he signed that new contract. I hope Saliba does as well. It looks quite positive at the moment, but he's still underrated, isn't he? Is he as good as Valverde? Like if you're comparing the two, I think Valverde is one of the best midfielders in world football. I know he played out of position quite a lot last season, but he's definitely up there. Like if you're comparing the two, who is like the more talented for you?
I think it's hard because Gabriel is a centre back basically, so there's not really like much versatility he can have, especially like given who he is. But I think like I really value like versatility. It's something I think about with Rice a lot, like this whole Caicedo Rice argument. But like Rice should be praised because he can play in multiple positions and be good. Like Valverde, in my opinion, is probably the best midfielder that Real Madrid have. He's not maybe as reliable in the big games as someone like Bellingham, for instance. But I think if you want him to do everything, he can do it. But that's the thing with him. He's like almost elite at everything, but not like incredible at one thing, which makes him so like they can put him in right back, they shove him to left back, and then he's just not as good in them positions, which make him look worse, which is just not his fault. So, like, yeah, I think Valverde is insane. But and I feel like him at Real Madrid goes against him because I feel like if he's at any other club in the world, he just plays in midfield every game.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, like it's. I think Gabriel's the best left centre back in the world, and I don't think Valverde's the best midfielder in the world. I think he's the best, maybe versatile option in a lot of these places, but I think there's obviously like midfielders that would obviously take over him. So I know it's a harder position you could argue, and there is a lot less centre backs I think that are that good nowadays. But I don't know, either of them really. They are the two on their own level in this category, I think.
See, originally I put Valverde. I think it's swaying me towards Gabriel now. We're going to have another Arsenal playing. This is crazy, isn't it? It's so biased. If I'm looking, positionally, but then I guess some people are going to go, hang on, you've put in, this player instead of this player because of their. It's so difficult. I don't know. I am really torn on that one. I think maybe Gabriel for the season he had. Like Valverde's almost kind of penalised because he's been so versatile. I think that was a huge mistake. I mean, they were forced into it, Real Madrid, but he should have been playing in the middle against us. Like he really should have. They were lacking legs so much. But yeah, well, let's put Gabriel in. But feel free to shout at me in the comments. 28. Here we go. This is a good one. I've got like a two-way battle here. There are other players, but for me, the two-way battle is between Rafinha, and Dembele. Do you want any honourable mentions, or are you going to go, actually, it's this person?
I got, well, on the midfield trade, Frankie de Jong is in next. I still think he's class.
Yeah.
And then Nico Barella is just like...
Yeah, Barella's.
It's just outstanding. But he isn't like always great. There are some games I've seen him have poor. I was with Luis Diaz in it because I thought it was funny because he's going to Bayern. So I thought, he's 28, he's moving there. But I don't know, there's just not that many like 28-year-olds that I'm like that good. Like, I mean, at the moment, Rafinha and Dembele, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I think about Dembele because it's like he is insane, and I like him because he's a really good presser. Like, he'd be so good for us because he's just the how relentless he is like incredible.
His two-footedness as well is...
I've just been a massive hater of Dembele forever because I've just never thought he was good. And it's one of them things where like he's always been hyped up a little bit. Like, this isn't as extreme, but Neymar is a great example. I feel like the thought of Neymar is better than the actual player. Like, I think when Neymar's playing and he's fit and he's good, he's great. But we like at a high level, we never saw that from the time he left Barca, like ages ago. Like, when did he leave Barca? Like 2017, 2018. He left so long ago, and he was never particularly great at PSG. Like, he was always overshone by Mbappe, in my opinion, and then even more by like Messi when he came in. And then, like, I feel like it's the same with Dembele. Like, Dembele, I get his injury concerns are a real big issue for that. But he had like a pretty good season as a youngster at Dortmund, got instantly bought by Barca, and then was just kind of mid for Barca for ages. And there was games where he was fit. And I remember in the Champions League, there was big games where he was fit. And he'd go past the play and just sky it. And I remember he used to play for France. And he'd come on for France, and I'd be like, this guy sucks. Like, I don't look at Dembele coming on and shiver. I just go, wow, he's crap. But like, I think finally they found a role for him. He's clearly not a winger. I don't think he's good enough. Like, I know he's like a winger naturally, but he's just not good enough one-on-one, in my opinion, anymore. Like, I don't know what it is. I think it's more his decision-making than anything. But I mean, yeah, he's had an incredible season. I think from his season deserves credit. He is relentless. He is incredible. He makes that team tick, and I think he is able to be so much more freer. I don't know what many teams where they would allow him to play the role he plays at PSG, other than maybe an Arsenal. Like, I think we're actually one of the only teams that would let him do that. I don't think many teams would, which is a specific thing, but it doesn't mean he's bad. In my opinion, Rafinha's a better football player, I think. Right, and I always think he has been a better football player as well, but I don't know.
I think he is. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if he is, actually. I wonder if... it's so difficult. God, I wish we got Rafinha when we were linked to him.
Yeah, I was such a big fan of Rafinha for years.
And this is the thing, when people are slating our recruitment and saying, oh, why have we got... Look at the players we have identified, and Rafinha was one of them. And I remember at the time, everyone's going, but he's a right winger. Why is he coming in? If you got Saka, blah, blah, blah. Look what he's done. Look what he's done. And I don't know. Because Rafinha as well, I part of me, I feel that he's got Yamal, who's like the darling of Barcelona now. And he's got Lewandowski, who's come with, a huge pedigree from Bayern Munich, and he's done all sorts throughout his career. Rafinha's really had to fight to be respected on that team, if you know what I mean. And I say he's probably the best performer out of those front three. I just think Dembele this year, with the kind of accolades that he's got, I think he has to get the Ballon d'Or. I think he just has to. So I think for me right now, Dembele would be my pick. Ask me this time next year, who the best 29-year-old is. I might be saying Rafinha, but yeah, right now I think it's Dembele for me.
It's funny you say that because I'm so much I feel like I'm so much more on the train of individual performances over team. And I get how the Ballon d'Or works, but I just think it's such a cop-out that I get Dembele's one of the main men and he was incredible and I understand that. But I just feel like Rafinha was, I don't know, maybe Rafinha is as well.
I guess it's similar to, when we were talking about João Neves and Desiree Doué earlier. For me, I look and I think Dembele almost like epitomizes PSG and this new PSG away from the glitz and glamour. Like, he is the workhorse. He is a focal point of how they play now. Whereas I think Rafinha, it's so difficult. I don't know. I just think for me, he kind of embodies this new system, and I just appreciate what he's done. Like, yeah, he might not have had like the key performances per se, but across the year, I think he's just been pivotal to their success. He's been really good.
I think Dembele will win the Ballon d'Or as well. I think they should just null and void it this year because no one really has been good enough. But they won't. They only did that for COVID, and poor Lewandowski didn't even get a shout.
Mate, that is a robbery, isn't it?
Well,
They did it mental.
They did it then. They should do it now. It's not someone good enough. So
I love your take sometimes, mate. That's quality. Just null and void. 29, mate. 29 is horrendous. This one is so bad. Can we just like quickly gloss over this and not talk about this? Like, from now on, it gets pretty ropey. So we've got Leroy Sané, Ollie Watkins. Oh my God. David Raya, we'll have him in there. Like, he is a world-class keeper. He's not the best, but he's up there. Fabian Ruiz, Guirassy, and Rodri, who has not played. But I think even without playing, he is the best 29-year-old.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he is outstanding.
Move on.
And also, when he won the Ballon d'Or, I was so happy because he deserves it. Like, and I don't.
No, it's just Vinicius. That's what this is. I know what this is.
I always say that I think to win the Ballon d'Or, you have to be genuinely outstanding in your position. I don't think scoring 17 goals and assists is outstanding in any metric for a forward. And even though he won all the accolades he did, and I think Rodri as a defensive midfielder was genuinely just world class, and more than that, everything. Like, every reason why Man City are good was because of him. We saw it last season even more. Rodri is I don't like him as a person, but as a footballer, I respect it. He is incredible, and he's kind of revolutionised that position in many ways. So fair play.
Yep. Okay, so Rodri, we have now got 30. Oh God.
The people I've got on this are so rogue.
Mate, the two I've got are Bruno Fernandes and Kimmich. Like, for me, it's Kimmich. Any other shouts? Or
I put Mike Magnon in 2025.
Oh yeah, he was there, but I just didn't write him down. I thought I thought
I put some keepers in there, and then I put Jacob Murphy. Great season, for him some credit. Norwich Academy have to
imagine that. The best 30-year-old is Murphy.
It's
Brilliant.
crazy you say Kimmich because I think it's Bruno. I think Bruno's way better. I think Bruno's outstanding, one of the best players in the world by far. I
just think Kimmich has been really underrated over the last year. When we were linked to him, at first I went, oh, I don't know. And then I started thinking about what I've seen of him over the past season. And I went, oh, do you know what? He has had some really good performances. And I started going back through, and when you just particularly watch one player, and I thought, my God, his passing is so good. And I know Bruno quite often goes to the Hollywood ball, but just Kimmich is another player who's really versatile, but he's just so good. He never looks troubled, always calm, collected on the ball, makes the right choice. I know he's not the same player as he was, but I love watching him. And also, for me, Bruno, again, attitude and the links to United. I appreciate. He's everything we miss sometimes in Odegaard, especially over the last season. Bruno has got that in abundance, but he lacks everything Odegaard has. If you could merge those two, you'd have a fantastic player. I just think sometimes Bruno, I think if you supported his team, he would irritate you quite a lot at times. You'd be celebrating him, but you'd also be cursing him, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I do just think like it's kind of the United thing. I just think if they just played a normal system and a normal role for him, he is in the same category as a Pedri. I think he's better than
Is he going to
Bellingham.
play in a pivot this year?
Well, this is the thing. Like, even last year, he played in the pivot, like, in a lot of their games when they tried to fit in other players going forward. And it's like, this is your best player. This is the star of the team. This is the guy that's worth £100 million at the age of 30 because he's actually good. And, like, I get that Bruno's not a very likable guy, like, at all. And I do think that he hero balls a lot. I think that is genuinely just a United thing, though. I think he would have learned not to do that if he was at another team, which is kind of unfortunate for him. I just look at him, though, and I just go, like, I watch him play and I'm just like, he is that one guy that I just go, he actually is great. I remember getting so much slack, like when I first started YouTube, and I made a short saying that Bruno Fernandes is like way better than Rashford. He's their best player. And this is when Rashford scored 30 goals. And I was like, no, Bruno is just by far the best player at this club and has been for a long time. And then everyone was like going at me like, oh, Rashford's better. Well, yeah, well, one's not the club anymore. So like, you know, I look at Bruno and I just go, man, like this guy he's in the same category as a Pedri, as a Musiala. Like he's better than Bellingham in my opinion. Like I just think I think Kimmich is also in these like. Well, the thing is, Kimmich is like one of the best right backs in the world, and also one of the best DMs in the world as well. Like he is in them categories. Do you think he plays very like not limited, but I feel like he plays a more limited right back role than some right backs do. Even like a Timber who has to go forward, even though he's not like particularly loves it. Like I still think, you know, you're not going to see Kimmich do that all the time. But I mean, Kimmich is like I don't know. It's weird because some seasons he's better in right back, some seasons he's better in DM.
That's so true. I've never really thought about that. That is so true. But I think your point with the money as well. I don't think you're ever going to get much for Kimmich at this stage. But Bruno, you will. So I guess maybe just looking at that lens of like worth, who's worth most at this point is Bruno.
I don't think as well. Like I mean, to be fair, like Bayern have tried to replace Kimmich multiple times, especially in DM. But like the players they've got, like Goretzka, like Polinia, like even like Pavlovic and stuff, who are like a good youngster, like Stancevic as well. These are good, but they're not Kimmich. So Kimmich just does stand out a lot. But when I watch Bruno, like Man United spent like hundreds and hundreds of pounds, and then again, there's probably no one on the market that they could get, even if they got Champions League football, that is better than Bruno. I just don't think that they can like. I feel like he is. I just wish I do wish Bruno was at another team, and that is it. Now his career, he's 30. He is going to be there.
I am going to say though, I still think they should have sold him if that was a genuine thing. If they're
going to play him in this pivot, yeah, they.
Yeah, that especially. But I genuinely think they should have. At that stage, you go, yeah, get rid of him and rebuild. The only problem is their recruitment has been so bad that I don't have any faith in them getting in any good players for the future anyway. So,
but it's always that thing in it. Like you have a really bad team and your best player, and then you say like it's the whole Tottenham thing. Tottenham were awful. They sold Kane, and I know they came 17th, but the year before last year they were evidently better without Kane, I think, than the season before because they got good money. And yeah, I know that does come down a lot to investment, but. Like sometimes it's fine. Like for that amount of money, it's like the same with Salah. I thought they should have sold Salah when they got a $100 million deal. Eventually, like he signed a new contract. He won them the league basically single-handedly. Fine, like that. Fair enough. He is insane. But like I do think with like Bruno, yeah, you've got to consider that, especially you're not going to play in the right position. Why they don't play their best player in their best position, I don't know. And it's not a situation where like, oh, we got to play other good players there. Like you've bought players to play there that you didn't have. Like, like it's like I don't mind for us if Saka played in right centre mid or left wing if he had to, given maybe injury situations or we're like struggling, so we moved him. But I wouldn't go, oh yeah, I hope Arsenal buy a right winger, world-class right winger, just shove him out. Like it wouldn't make any sense. Like I just don't get it. So I don't know. I feel like it's more of a United issue than him sometimes.
Are we going with Bruno then?
Well, I don't know. We could go for Kimmich, but I do want to give some like love to Bruno because I do think he's really good.
I'm going with Kimmich. I'll just get him anyway. 31. Oh, here we go. Now we're talking. Oh my God. This is Oh, this is wanting here, isn't it? Okay, we have got Edison, John Stones. I mean, he rarely plays. Rodrigo de Paul, who's just gone to America, isn't he? I think as well.
Into
Yeah.
Miami, he's Messi's best friend.
Marquinhos. I'm lost now. I don't know if anyone else is worth even mentioning. No,
do you know what's funny? Do you know what's funny? Harry Kane, I know you put all 32. Harry Kane's birthday's today. He's 32 today. so we've just
So he's
missed
32.
Today. I mean,
You're doing that thing of like he's 31 until he's 32. He's 32. He's turned 32
today.
today.
Gyökeres thing, isn't it? I've seen people being like, "Why have Arsenal sold a 28-year-old Gyökeres? He turned 27 like 2 months ago. How is he 28?"
Yeah. I it's just mental on it. Yeah. So no, Kane is 32. Well, I'm not putting him at 31.
I've also got to say, I got to put my boy in there. I got to put my boy in there. Ty Parler's got to go in there. I don't care. That's my guy. Paulo Dybala, what a player, man. There's also people like Çalhanoğlu. Like he actually was,
to be fair,
he was undeniably one of the best midfielders in the world last year. I don't know what's going on with his transfer situation. It's kind of crazy, but
isn't it crazy how these Italian clubs suddenly get extra miles out of players who are in their 30s? Like it's mad.
So what happens when the league is like incredibly slow. Everyone's just like,
true. Like, look at Mkhitaryan. How is Mkhitaryan still playing? No, I don't know. It's insane. Who are we going to aim for? Actually, do you know what? Hakan might be a shout.
I actually think it is. Like, I think if we're talking about like performances over the last like 18 months to 2 years, he has been better than all of them. I think Marquinhos is a good shout. Like, fair enough, Marquinhos. Like recently, the last like 5 months, he's been incredible. But I think for the years, he was pretty mid before that. But
I think he's so overrated.
Yeah, so do I. But then it's hard to say that. Like, it's like the same with what I said about Donnarumma. Like, I've hated Donnarumma if he's overrated, but then every time it's a big game, he just plays well and is amazing. It's like I just look like an idiot. I just give up now. I talk about him. But like,
okay, yeah, we'll go for Hakan then. That's fine. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I mean, it's not great, but yeah, it's fine. 32. Now we can say Kane because he's 32 today. Look at that. Alisson Becker, Oblak. Now we can get some keepers in. Surprise, surprise, they're in the later years. There are other players.
Emi Martinez, if you want. Maguire, Lukaku. Lukaku deserves a shout, to be fair. He did just win the league. And was brilliant.
But is he up there with Kane?
I mean, no, but well, I don't know. I don't really think Kane does a lot anymore. I think his legs are gone. And I think if you I don't know, if you put Lukaku and Kane in the same team, I think one of them might be better than the other. But I don't know. Kane can't run anymore, but he is still really good. I think Alisson's clearly though, like he's the best keeper in the world, in my opinion. I think.
I tell you what, Oblak has given him a hard push. I think sometimes it's gone under the radar because of the Premier League type thing. I think at points, Jan Oblak has been unbelievably good. But yeah, I think. Oh.
Do you know what's crazy? I don't agree. I don't think Oblak's good. I don't think Oblak's been like.
I think he's had some really good, like.
I think his last good year was like when he was like 27. To be honest, I don't think he's been because I remember like the thing is this is like I don't follow Oblak all the time. I didn't watch him the last 2 seasons, but I do remember. I think it was 22-23 or it might have been 23-24. He had the lowest post shot expected goals like in Europe, other than one keeper. And he was like, he conceded like 14 more goals than he should have. And I was like, I don't know. And then even like last year, he improved, like 2 years ago, he improved heavily from that. But I don't think he was particularly that good. And like, I don't know. I think he is just a shot stopping keeper. And I don't particularly like shot stopping keepers generally. And I don't think he's that good of a shot stopper anymore.
So I quite like keepers that keep the ball out of the net. I'm usually for that.
More passy types. That's me.
No, I mean, I do think Alisson is better than him. I just think sometimes Alisson's this is going to sound insane because he is one of the best goalkeepers in the world and has been for quite a while. I think he's almost had like a free ride at times. I think people have almost gone, oh, like, you know, you look at like Kelleher. Kelleher was outstanding for them. And I think part of that also shows how good the system was at times. You know, when you got Van Dijk in front of you, it does make it a little bit easier.
Maybe, but like I do think like I think there's a I think like Kelleher when he came in was good, but wasn't saving like wasn't winning them games. Like,
Yeah. I know. I just mean sometimes I think people just need to just chill a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just like
he's one of the guys I would understand a little bit. Like if like the game against PSG, that first leg is genuinely probably one of the best goalkeeping performances of all time. Like the guy just carried them. They only won 1-0 in that game because of Alisson. And in all their Champions League games over the last 3 years, he is their main carry. Like people go on about Van Dijk, but he is a shadow marker. He is a jockey player. He doesn't stop players having shots. He just doesn't. He just will make sure they don't necessarily have good shots on goal, but he won't stop them. And I just think like, I don't know. I genuinely don't even know if keepers have had the same height as Alisson has reached. I don't think it will happen in a long time. I look at him and I just go like, every time I doubt him and every time he makes a mistake, he then is like in like the best player in the world for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, unbelievable performance. Yeah.
He's so frustrated.
Are we choosing Alisson or are we choosing Kane?
Alisson, in my opinion. I think Alisson's by far the best keeper in the world. I don't think Kane is by far the best striker in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Yep. Okay, cool. I think the best goalkeeper in the world is whoever plays against us. That's the way it seems to be, anyway. There we go. Hot take.
Aaron Ramsdale for Newcastle.
Yeah, and 33. Here we go. Courtois, another player who has an unbelievable game against us. I mean, he has had some insane performances. However, Salah. It's Salah. Let's be honest, isn't it? I don't think there's any argument
I put mine. I put Neymar because it's funny because it's like what's happened. And he's in Brazil, and then I put Son, which is like Son has like only been bad the last year, 18 months. He was really good until he was 31. Like one of the best finishers in the Prem's ever seen. Yeah, again, it's one of the situations where if Son was at Liverpool, like maybe not now he'd maintain it, but I still think he'd hit. I think he could hit the same. Maybe not the same sort of levels. I think he could hit the same sort of goal contributions as someone like Salah in his prime. But you know,
in his prime,
I feel from the ages of like 25 to 31, I think he could have.
Could he have done as good a job as Mane did? If you just switched Son in for Mane.
Yeah, I think so. I think he could easily have done. I think
that's
Son
an interesting conversation. That
I think Son's the best finisher in the Premier League over the last 15 years.
I think he's probably one of the best weak foot finishers as well. It's just unbelievable.
I think about like strikers struggling with like one-on-ones or like I mean he just scored for like even people like who I consider like elite finishers like
can I just say I can think of one where he didn't score.
Wow, yeah. That's why it was so annoying because it's Son. But
in that case, no, he couldn't do Mane's job. All right. Anyway, I'm not gonna dwell on that. I'm gonna move on from this. 33 is Salah. All right, we're moving on before I start getting raging about Tottenham and City. 34, probably another Liverpool player here. I've put in KDB for the lols. KDB, Griezmann, bit of a revival again.
Griezmann's been great for years. He's still great. Like he like I don't know if it's last season or the season before. He got like double digit goals and assists. And he's like he's in his 30s. Like this guy does not care. I put in Kante as well because Kante plays for France and he can still keep up like easily. It's just he's in Saudi. It's just what it is. But like I think if a Prem team, because there was linked to it, West Ham were linked to him last summer, and I was like, if they signed him, he'd be so good. Like he's still class.
But it has to be Virgil van Dijk, surely.
Yeah, he's playing at that level. Like just these guys are not playing at.
No, he's got to slow down at some point, hasn't he? He's got a. I know he had the blip, but he had the season where he was just not himself. Like I hope that starts to happen now. You know, you don't want to see players get worse, but In this current situation, I do.
It's
Yeah,
how he defends, isn't it? Like, he defends, like we were saying, like, he very sits off it. He doesn't really get into contact unless he has to. I don't love the way he defends. Like, I get he's incredible, and I think on the ball it's more important. And he does slow things down, and he is that sort of like,
it almost
inevitability.
boosts. You know, when people go, "Oh, he's never dribbled past," it almost boosts that stat because he jockeys and he like falls back. So it's not people
He
never
never
go to
commit.
take him on. Yeah. It's not like Gabriel who does commit and he's like, right, I'm making the challenge, I'm making the tackle. Like, he doesn't put himself in that position, which is, to be fair, very clever. It's quite commendable.
It's good.
He is an unbelievable defender.
There's definitely been times it has hurt Liverpool, like him just kind of seeing off. Like, when he plays with Konate, you don't see it as bad because Konate is that more physical type of player. But there has been easily issues when he's played alongside someone like maybe not a Kwanzaa, because I actually think Kwanzaa's quite good, but even like a Joe Gomez. When he's played alongside Joe Gomez, there's been issues there. And I just like, the thing is, that's why I think his longevity is so good. I think it is because he doesn't really push himself to do too much sometimes. I think nowadays you get that stigma, that inevitability about him, that people are scared to go at him. So he kind of wins a lot of the stuff. He is an incredible defender. He is the best centre back in the world. I'm hoping this year that changes. Like, he is 34. You know, how long? Like, if he gets injured though, like we've been talking about this with Liverpool's defense, and I think their defense is crazy. I don't know what's going on there, and he's gonna have to cover a lot of areas if what we think is gonna happen.
Like they were setting things up. You know, if you go like back 2 years, it looked like they were going, right, we've got a real clear succession plan. And that seems to have gone out of the window. It's really bizarre what they're doing over there.
Like, they're going to keep Konate, it looks like, and they might sign Mark Guehi, but Mark Guehi is not that good, like, to start for Liverpool. So I don't know.
But yeah, Van Dijk is headering, commanding the box. His ability to make other players better, reading the game, his passing range. I mean, he's so good. He is very, very good. Yep, 34 Van Dijk. 35 though. Do you know what? I'm going to go with a player who's not even got a team at the moment. So there we go. Honourable mention, Kyle Walker, who is currently dreadful, but he's not my choice. I'm going with Muller. Just left his club. He's a free agent. He's retired internationally, but he's joint most decorated German. Really underrated, I think, sometimes, because he's not like the flashy player, but God, so dependable. Like, unbelievably dependable. If you need a goal, he's there. If you need an assist, he's there. Like, he never really gets flustered. He's just kind of, I think, I don't think history will be kind to him either, even though he's like so decorated in terms of the amount of awards he's got. I think in another like 10 or 20 years' time, people will completely forget about him, which is a real shame, because they'll be talking about, players who pick up the ball and, pacey players or players with outrageous shots. And he's just not that type of player, like, if that makes sense. But I do think right now he's still best 35-year-old in world football.
Yeah, it's hard with this because there's a lot of people at this age have retired. But I mean, I've got Jordan Henderson coming back to the Prem. He will probably be playing at the highest level, I think, out of any of these people. There's also Azpilicueta. He hasn't retired. He's just not at a club. He's just chilling. I got Pookie because that's my guy. Norwich guy. Just because it's funny. I don't even know if he still plays, but he did play in America for a bit. But yeah, that's kind of
just
it.
down in a local park near you now.
Yeah, well, maybe. But Muller's a weird player because he isn't very flashy. I think an actual good shout for this is Wojciech Szczesny, who is last season was Barca's number one.
Can't put him above Muller. Like, regardless of Muller not even playing, I'm still going with him.
Szczesny started in the Champions League semi-final.
I know, but I can't do that, mate. It's Szczesny.
Muller's been a backup player for Bayern for like half a decade. He's just sat on the bench.
Like you're always gonna have longevity when your job is just chilling. Like
No,
that's
he
essentially what it's
retired.
like.
He came back. That's how
Oh,
legendary he is.
mate, I'm not doing it. I am just not doing it. Which is why we're finishing this on 36, not 35, because I knew this would happen. So I'm putting Miller in. I'm putting my foot down. That's it. That's happening. Okay, 36. I think there's only one player on the list that can go in here, and it is
Lewandowski.
Yeah, thank God for that. Yeah, Lewandowski is just obvious, isn't it?
I can't believe he still plays. Like, why is he still playing? I mean, he's at such a high level as well, really. But
to be fair, yeah, he's still. Do you know what I mean? He's at Barca. Like, it's quite clever what he's done. At the time, I was like, what are Barcelona doing? Getting him in now? I don't really understand it.
But
But it's so clever for him because he's there. He's chipping away with goals. He's winning trophies. He's lovely, nice and easy.
There is some other players I want to mention quickly. I've got
Go on, go for it, mate.
Alexis Sanchez. Don't know if you've heard of him, but he plays for Udinese. He still plays. Bless him. He's been kind of like. I think Mats Hummel still plays. I don't know. He played for Roma last year and got red carded against Bilbao in the big game in the Europa League. I don't know if he is still there or what's going on because I don't particularly care about him that much. But there's also Aubameyang who just joined Marseille. He just joined the French league, Ligue 1. He's come back. So, he's playing at a pretty high level, to be fair. Jordi Alba, who obviously plays for Inter Miami, a part of that. Obviously, Henrik Mkhitaryan played in the Champions League final.
Yeah, I mentioned him earlier.
Yeah, like he's definitely a shout of how much he plays. Even Jan Sommer played was the goalie in the Champions League. I know a lot of people like Jan Sommer. Yeah, again, I have been a hater in the past. Come around a little bit over the last couple of years. Actually, he has actually improved somehow. Yeah, I think you probably have to give it to Lewandowski. But if I said, like, in their position, who do I actually think I would rely on for a team like Arsenal or like whatever, I would probably rather have a Jan Sommer.
Alexis Sanchez.
Wow. I don't think he's had legs.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what? At this current state with our left side and how they've been performing, I'd actually go, do you know what? Here's a trial. Go for it, mate. Prime Alexis, I have to say, he's probably the highest peak of the Emirates era. I'd argue. Like
he's the best player I've ever seen play for Arsenal, like properly, I think.
I've got a shirt upstairs with him on the back. Can't wear that.
Other than maybe like 2011 Van Persie, like maybe, but we were like, I felt like when he was there, maybe with Sanchez, it kind of felt like he was there. They're just the only players that could do anything. I know everyone loves Ozil. I never really liked him that much. Thought he was all right. Like, I think I would appreciate Ozil a lot more if I was my age now when he played. But I was like 13 or 12 when he joined the club, and then when he left, I was like 18. Like, so I just didn't care like that much.
The thing was though, like Alexis could just pick up a ball and just do something. You know, you just make something out of nothing, and that's the difference. I think Ozil on the ball, just unbelievable. Like the guile, just it's unrivaled. But in the team and at the time, it just didn't work, unfortunately. Like he is one of the most talented players we've ever had at the club, but we never really got to see it because of where he was in his career and where we were as a club. It's quite sad, really. Whereas
if we had like any of the strikers like Gyökeres or Aubameyang or Lacazette, he would have been a lot better. I do think the Giroud angle is a bit like, and I know like people like Giroud. I like Giroud. He's a cool guy, but like, you know, he still was very.
He's very and that's what should have happened. We should have kept him for longer and not let him go to Chelsea. Really,
should have played him in a 2 up front. You know, like I mean, even like relatively later in his like when we got like later in Wenger's time, he started playing like Walker up front and stuff, and you know, and all this stuff. I just never felt like Arsenal's wingers were that good. Like when I was watching, I know Sanchez kind of played as a winger, so it's like okay, yeah, he came inside and whatever. But like, I don't know. I don't look at any of the wingers that we played in the 6 years that like I watched it, like the middle of the 2010s. I go like, wow.
Who would you have seen like Gervinho and oh god,
I didn't even
Yeah,
know, like, obviously, like,
Darth talent.
Rosicky and stuff was, like, injured a lot, so, like, I never really like, Sharvin as well, like, a beginning at the start, I saw a Sharvin, but he was, like I like Sharvin, but he wasn't very
Do you remember
consistent.
Ramsey going out on the right?
Yeah, Ramsey. I remember Ramsey's 20, was it, like, 2012 season? I don't know if it's 11-12 or 12-13, it might be 11-12. Wait, well, that was so out of nowhere when he scored, like, 16 goals in all
He was
comps.
like
It's
the
like, he's
best midfielder on the planet
in
at
the
one
at the
point.
start
Like,
of the
just
season, he was, like, the 3rd top goal scorer in the Pro or something, wasn't he? Like,
it's just nuts.
I was actually,
But
like, doing a big piece about Ramsey the other day, and I was just like, it's so funny when he went to, like, Juve for money, and then, like, they never played him. I was like, well,
he scored one of the best goals I've ever seen as well. A left-footed half volley from outside the area. Just
thing is, history will
unbelievable.
always be nice to him because he did score 2 winning FA Cup goals. So it's like,
Wembley
that
is
will,
his ground.
that will be so good. It's like Sanchez, wasn't he? Like, his record at Wembley was like insane for Chile
Yeah.
and us. They just score all the time. And Aubameyang. Well, maybe it's
Yeah,
Gyökeres.
yeah.
Maybe it's Gyökeres is the new one.
Oh yes, yes. Come on.
We need to
Okay,
get
let's go through. So we had Max Dowman at 15. We had the young lad. Is it Rio Ungamoa? I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know you've had it in the past about the pronunciation, so I'm getting a bit tentative on that. 17 Buadi, I think we chose in the end. 18 Yamal, obviously. 19 Zaire Emery. 20 up to the commenters and João Neves and Desiree Doué. 21 we went with Belabor in the end, I think. 22 Pedri, which is really nice that we both kind of said that as well. That was quite fun. 23 Saka. 24 Saliba over Kvaratskhelia. 25 Isak currently, not Vinicius or Haaland. 26 Mbappe. 27 we went with Gabriel, didn't we, over Valverde in the end. 28 Dembele, just over Rafinha. 29 Rodri. 30 Kimmich. I've got him in there. 31. We didn't go with Marquinhos. Did we go with Hakan in the end for 31?
Yeah.
32 Alisson Becker. 33 Salah. 34 Van Dijk. Got a lot of Liverpool players there. Luckily,
they're all in their 30s. So
yeah, I'll take that. 35 Muller, because I'm not having Chesney. And 36 Lewandowski. Mate, how long did it take us? I have no idea. Over 2 hours, I think, in the end. But I'm happy with that list. I'm actually really happy with that list. And considering we had no time to prepare for this, I literally, just so everyone knows, so I text Reece saying, mate, we need to get a pre-recorded out. I can't do this week. There's no possible way I'm going to be able to do it while I'm on holiday. And we just went on, wrote down a load of players that we thought were certain ages. And as we've been recording this, it's been like, let's go. Let's just do this completely on the fly. So if there are any dates or kind of years that are off with us, I do apologise. We have done our utmost here. I'm pleased, mate. I'm happy with that. I am genuinely happy with that. Anyone here though? Anyone here on that list that you're like, do you know what? I reckon they're going to completely drop off next year.
I feel like it's easier to say with the youngsters, but I feel like that's quite harsh. So I don't want to. You know what? I feel like I feel like maybe I don't know about people that we decided to win, but looking at my list of like each year, I do think that like I don't know if we're going to be talking about Cherky in this light next year. I feel like he will be a good player, but I don't think he'll be considered like the best in his age group. I just don't think he'll get the opportunities to show that at City, like as the season progresses, and 2, I just don't think he's that good at the moment for Prem level. But I'm willing to be wrong if it means Man City is still awful. I don't really care that much. But I don't know. Everyone else is like, it's so interesting. Like, can Dembele keep this up? Like he probably will win the Ballon d'Or this year. But
I was going to say he might be one that I'm looking at again. Is he going to drop off?
Also, with like how they're very specific in how PSG play, but we saw Maresca absolutely destroy the press of PSG, and a lot of teams are going to do that now. Teams should have been doing it anyway, and like how the teams have done what Maresca did, but they didn't have maybe the players to make it work. Like, I think a lot of big teams next season will be out for blood against PSG, and I don't know if Dembele is going to be at that level. And obviously, he needs to stay fit. He's always had injury problems, so
Yep.
it's an interesting one.
Yeah, I'm looking through, and there are a couple that are looking out to me, like Musiala. How's he going to be when he comes back? I know he didn't win his category, but what is he going to be like when he comes back? Can Desiree Doué kind of progress? I imagine João Neves will continue because he seems like quite a consistent player. Whereas Doué, the way that he plays is quite high risk, high reward. Can that continue? It's a little bit different because he's playing in France, so it's a bit easier for him to play in those waves. You know, he doesn't have the same kind of opposition every single week. But later on, I'm looking at some of these players, and they are Liverpool players who are getting towards the end of their career. Thank God. It was really nice. Mate, thank you for tonight. I do appreciate it. I know it's completely out of the blue. Tell everyone where they can find you, Reece.
FOKLZ Football, FOKLZ YT, FOKLZ Football on TikTok, FOKLZ Football on Instagram. That was my name.
Yeah.
FOKLZ FM, if you like Football Manager.
Oh, yeah. New channel out. Yes. Let's go. And I'm also going to say thank you for over 200 of you that watched our most recent podcast. It is growing. I'm loving this community. All the comments, DMs that I'm getting. It's really, really good, honestly. And I do apologize that we can't do it live. We will be back next week, though, live. And if you need some content in the meantime, go check out Reece's channel and have a little look, because I will try and get some little TikToks or something out while I'm away. So come check me out on Footy. But we will be back next Friday at about 8:30, nice and live, ready to answer your questions. We will catch you then. Cheers now.